So I have had plenty of podcasts where the conversation and the topic of discussion is just so good and so crisp that, we can go for a long time. But I've never had podcast preamble that lasts for 3 hours. My guest here today is a friend, a brother, a homie that clearly I do not get to speak to enough. Taim, welcome back to the Superhero Homies podcast.
Hey, what's good, homies? What's good?
Man, listen, what time did we get on and start talking?
Bro, let me actually check this call real quick. I'm about to find out. We have been in this call, I feel like, at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's
Had,
damn
yeah.
hours.
I feel like it was like 7:20, right? And right now it is currently 10:44, and we are just now starting to record this podcast. Anything you guys think about? We've talked about everything from religion to old old sexual experiences that we've had to.
X-Men blanket, bro.
X-Men sheets. I had to tell him the story of the X-Men sheets. He didn't know.
No.
Yeah,
shit.
Man. We talked about that and everything in between, man. And of course we had to throw some pro wrestling in there as well. So we just. Clearly that's a sign that we don't get to speak to each other enough.
Not nearly, brother. We talk maybe. It's so rare too because it's phones work every day. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
we talk maybe like once every 3 months.
I know, man. That shit's the worst. We
gotta fix that.
We do, man. We do, and that's how we end up having 3.5 hour conversations and being like, oh, we got a podcast.
I was like, we have not started recording this podcast yet. We've been talking about everything, bro.
Yeah. And we could have kept going too. That's the thing. Yeah,
the sun went down and everything, bro. It's crazy.
Right. Oh yeah, the sun was out. Oh, that's hilarious. That's good shit. Well, Taim, I've started a new segment here on the podcast, and now I'm going to bring you into it. But this new segment is basically a game of yes or no questions. So you're going to get a total of 15 yes or no questions that you can ask me with a total of 3 guesses. And your objective is going to be to guess what comic book character I have in mind.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like that. What's the thing? The genie thing.
Yeah, similar to that. Yes.
Okay. All right. You should go first so I can get an example of what.
Okay. So like an example of a question you would ask me would be like, so again, they have to be yes or no questions. So you would ask me like, does the character have superpowers? That's yes or no question. Is the character male? Is the character Marvel?
I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. 15 questions you said?
Yep. And a total of 3 guesses. So if you guess before 15 questions and you get it wrong, you have 2 more guesses.
Okay. Yep. All right. We'll keep track of the points. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So is this character in Marvel?
No.
Okay. That narrows a lot of them down. Is this character a male?
No.
No. Okay. It's 2. Is this character a villain?
No.
Okay. Is this character on the Justice League show?
No.
Okay.
All good questions so far.
Narrows down a lot of huge. Okay. Okay. Not a villain, not on the show. So it's a woman who is. So it's a woman who's not on the show. Okay, but is these? Oh, why did I ask? Is this character in DC?
Yes.
Okay, so that helps. It could be Image Comics,
Right.
All right, so let's see. A woman in DC, not on the show. Ooh, does this character have superpowers?
No.
A regular person? Okay, hold on. Is this character married?
No. I think all of the questions have been no except for one.
Yeah, who the fuck is this person, bro? Hold on, let me see. No superpowers, not married. Is this person related to a superhero?
No.
Okay, shit.
I'm assuming you mean like a blood relation.
Yeah, blood relation, I guess I should say.
No.
Or marriage if they're but they're not married.
Yeah,
so
no.
Golly, this is kind of hard. Okay, hold on. So it's a woman on DC who ain't got no powers, who's not on the show, who's not related, who's not blood related to a superhero. Who's not a villain.
Right.
Does this character have any children?
No.
We're at 8 now. Okay, shit. Bro, I dead ass. Who is this? Hold on, let me see. Is this person? Oh, sorry. Does this person work in the government?
No.
Not okay. I just broad stroked that, but we could. That's 9. She's not on the show, not a villain, doesn't have powers. The fuck? Who the fuck? Okay, hold on. Okay. Shit. This I don't think what else to ask at this point. Like, who is this person white? Like, probably.
Is that a question?
Yeah. Fuck it. Is this person white?
Yes.
That's okay. So it's just a white woman in DC. Which I guess takes out Amanda Waller, so it's okay.
Yeah. Eliminates Amanda Waller. Yep.
Yeah.
And she's also kind of a villain, so you know that.
That's true. She works for the government too, so kind of it's a couple things.
You got 5 more questions.
Shit, bro. Okay. All right. Hold on. Not related to a superhero. Yep. Does this person play a major plot role in any recent storylines?
You say in any recent storylines?
Any big recent storylines? I mean, any like canon big recent storylines? So like death metal, I guess, and like the other one.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, damn. So who is this?
I will give you a hint. You definitely know who this is.
Oh, yeah, when you tell me who it is.
Yeah, you will be. If you don't get it
down to find who it is, though. Hold on. Okay. Does this person live in Gotham?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a white woman that doesn't work for the government, that lives in Gotham, that is not related to a superhero, with no powers. Okay. It's not a villain. Is Catwoman a villain? She has superpowers? I guess. Okay, let me see. Does this? I got 2 more questions left. Does this person have relations with a superhero or a hero of their city of Gotham?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That kind of narrows it down too. But which hero?
Or has had. I'll also give you
has
that.
had.
Yeah.
Okay. Not presently. Okay.
Okay, you got 2 more questions.
Okay.
I'll give you this. the going back to your previous question, I'll also give you this hint. The character does not work for the government, but previously has briefly.
Guess one. Is it Rachel?
No.
Good guess. I don't know where she was. All right, let's see. That's from one guess down. Previously worked for the government, has had relations with Batman. Sorry, you said Batman. You said a hero of Gotham. Doesn't have superheroes. Her powers is not related to. Has previously worked for the government and lives in Gotham. First off, who the fuck would want to do that? Second off, it'd make it a target. Why would you want to do that? 2 more questions. Is this person currently alive?
Yes.
Okay.
One more question. Make this a supreme question.
Is this person? Hold on. Government. Fuck, dude. Is this person handicapped?
That's hard to answer as a yes or no, so I'll give you a hint. A
Okay.
big hint.
The person currently handicapped.
No.
Okay. Oracle?
I'll give you that on a technicality. It is Barbara Gordon.
Okay. I was like, holy fuck.
Bro,
Shit. Hold on. I would say that them legs are superpowers, though, by the way, but whatever. Bionic legs, I would say, are pretty, yeah, all right.
Well, the legs are not bionic. The legs are still flesh and bone. It's the implant that she has.
You're absolutely correct. You're totally correct. Works for the government. I guess she's not related to a superhero because Gordon's not a superhero.
Yeah.
That was rough, bro. I was like, who the fuck?
It's so funny because like this is like I think the 4th time now that I've done this, and it's so interesting when I do this segment because it's like I don't ever try to go like too deep cut, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'm also always so afraid that like man, I'm making this too easy. Like I'm thinking of characters who are too easy to guess. But no, every time it kind of comes down to the wire, and so that's the fun part about it.
Yeah, man. All right, you're up for one now, buddy.
Oh, you got one for me.
I got one for you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. This is the first time. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a deep cut. I was about to say. Okay. I don't know if the homies know who Speedball is.
Wow. Okay. That would have. Okay. I don't know if I would have gotten there in 15. I don't know if I would have gotten there in 15. I would have had to. It's the character associated with. Yeah, that would have been rough.
Yeah, this person bounce like. Okay, no. No. I'll pick a more shallow one. I think. Okay, yeah. I got a shallow one. Go for it. Yeah.
All right.
Not really. Yeah.
It's the character Marvel.
Yes.
It's the character heavily affiliated with the superhero team.
Yes.
It's the character male.
Yes.
It's the.
We have 3, 4.
That's 3. It's going to be number 4 here. It's the character Caucasian, or in their pre-superhero state Caucasian.
I'm gonna say no. And if I'm wrong at the end of this,
okay.
This is me. I'll give you, but okay. I'm gonna say no. You'll see why.
Interesting. Is the character a villain?
No.
Okay. And remind me, we said that the character is not heavily affiliated with the superhero team, right? He
is on a superhero team.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, he is affiliated with the superhero team.
Oh boy, Marvel has so many of those. Is this character affiliated with the X-Men?
Trying to fuck me with Barbara Gordon, yeah.
She's right there in Gotham. All right.
The Batman. Like, all right, who the fuck? Anyways, you're right. Go ahead. It's my bad. Go ahead.
It's the character associated with the X-Men.
Yes.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. There's a laundry list of mutants. This is gonna look.
Since you gave me a little bit of a breather, I'll go back to remind you that I did say that the character technically isn't Caucasian. I'll just emphasize that.
Okay.
Because there's a handful of mutants that aren't Caucasian.
Okay. Is the character any ethnicity that is native to real life?
I'm gonna have to say no. This is hard, but I'm gonna say no. If I'm wrong, then I'll give you the point, but or I'll throw it up in the air. But
gotcha. Has the character ever appeared in a superhero movie or TV show?
Yes.
Okay.
That narrows it down a great deal.
Say what?
That narrows it down. I think a good deal.
Oh, not enough. Okay, so let me think. Non-white character that is a male. Okay, all right. Let me think here. Oh man. And we said the character is not a villain.
Not a villain.
Okay.
See, not as easy as you think it is, huh?
I never thought it was easy. I just explained how the shit is actually quite difficult.
You did.
Okay. So the character has appeared in the movie.
Yep.
All right.
I'll give you one more breather. He's appeared in the movie and the show.
What?
Actually, well, not either or, but he's appeared in both.
Okay. All right. Does the character have super strength?
No.
Okay. Holy shit.
My man. I was like, what? What question are we on? 9, 10?
We just did number 9.
9. Okay. Yeah. I'm counting now. I got you.
All right. Well, I'm over here like looking at my Marvel bookshelf, just like, okay, who?
Wait, now who the fuck?
Yeah. Who the fuck could this be? Okay. All right. I feel like this question is gonna be a no, so I don't want to waste one.
You got 6. No,
I got 6.
You got 6 left.
Okay, let me see. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
We should do this live one day. See if the homies can put it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? YouTube live.
Oh my gosh.
See if the homies can get it right in the chat before you do.
I'm gonna edit all this out. I'm joking. They can't see me struggle like this. I got an image to maintain. Okay, all right. So the character has appeared in the movie. Was the character in X-Men First Class?
Oh shit! Let me think.
That was the first one with James McAvoy.
Yeah. I gotta think of who's in that movie.
Kevin Bacon was the villain. He plays.
I think he was. He was not.
He was not.
He was not.
Okay. Damn it. Okay. Was the character in the X-Men animated series?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to use my first guess. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure that this is wrong, but I need to throw it out there anyway. Is it Bishop?
No.
Okay. All right.
Good guess though.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Okay, I should also be fair to you. I don't think this character was a prominent character in the animated series.
Gotcha.
Just he was in there, but he wasn't one of the main characters. If that makes any sense.
Okay. Oh man, I need to waste a question, but I just need to confirm this.
Okay.
The character is a mutant, or is the character a mutant? Okay.
Character is a mutant. Yes.
Yep. Oh fuck! The character doesn't have like okay. Holy shit! I only got 3 questions left. Okay. What the fuck? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Was man, that's way too narrow of a question. That won't help me out at all. I don't need to waste no more fucking questions though. Okay. And you already said that the character does not have a ethnicity that is native to to real life.
No.
Yeah, okay. Mm, 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 mm. Holy shit! Who the fuck is this? Doesn't have super strength.
You're gonna be like, wow. Like, seriously? Okay.
And the character is not a villain.
Nope.
What the fuck?
I will tell you another hint to be nice on your last guess.
Okay, all right, okay. Uh, is the has the character been in is this character prominent in any recent Marvel comics, say within the past 5 years?
Ooh, prominent. Prominent's hard to define, but I'm gonna say the Genosis arc. You mean? With like not Genosis. I mean the
like House of X Powers of 10 or
okay. Um, I'm gonna say no. If I'm wrong, I'll give you the point anyway. But okay. I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I haven't read all of the ones, all the prominent ones, but I'm gonna say no.
Okay, gotcha.
But if I'm wrong, you get the point. So.
I'm. This isn't a question, but I was about to ask: has the character died? And I'm like, they've all died. Yeah.
What?
That wouldn't help me out at all.
On your last question, let me know, and I'll give you the answer.
All right. So I got 2 more questions and 2 more guesses.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I can't for the life of me. You would choose the X-Men, the biggest fucking roster on the goddamn planet.
But this character appeared in both in the movies. So that really narrows it. There's not a whole lot that appeared in the movies. Okay, you honestly could have just went to the movies and asked about every movie if you wanted to. But you don't have enough for that now.
But also that would have used up so many questions.
That's true.
Just to narrow it down to which movie. Because there's like 8 X-Men movies or some shit.
You're right. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Okay. So I'm trying to think of like the X-Men movies and who there is just what the fuck color are you person with no super strength.
Sorry.
God damn.
You're gonna either guess it, or I'm telling you, you're gonna be mad that you didn't guess this.
He is in the movies.
He is.
Okay. Right now, I'm going through like the Rolodex in the movies, like moving. Is it Nightcrawler?
It is.
Oh my fucking god!
In the movies and the show,
shit,
not technically Caucasian. Oh. He's white coated. He says Russian or something, but he ain't white.
yeah, that you are completely correct. Yeah, he's definitely blue. Definitely
blue. The hint I was going to give you was that he is the only person of his color in the entire X-Men.
That wouldn't.
Well, that's true. One of the X-Men that looks like him, his color.
Oh yeah, Beast. Yeah. see, Beast was going to be my next guest, but I'm like, no, Taim knows that Beast used to be a white dude.
And I was like, he ain't prominent. Well, but I guess the thing at heart is asking, is he Caucasian? Would still be no for Beast, because Beast is not currently Caucasian.
Yeah, that is
technically he's blue.
That's true. Yeah, that's crazy because like Nightcrawler, like he's a mainstay member. You know, what I mean,
movies, show, wasn't prominent in the most recent line of X-Men comics.
You know, it's just a difficult game. Like, you know,
it is. It truly just is a hard ass game. Because I was like, is this too deep a cut for him? I was like, there ain't no way. Nightcrawler is a deep cut. Like
the first one I did was the answer was Venom, and man, I was so afraid that like my homie Oz wasn't gonna get it. He got it though. And I think who was my second? Oh, my second one was Punisher, and that one came down pretty close too. And then I did a Patreon episode. We talked about the old school Mario movie. And oh my god, that was an experience. Let me tell you.
Yeesh.
Yeah, yeesh. That is the correct vernacular. But for that, I didn't do a comic book character. I did a video game character. Yeah, and it was Johnny Cage, and they got it. You know, it's like, oh,
really?
Yeah. It came down to the wire, but they got it.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive. All right, up to you.
So there's one more thing I wanted to do with you, Taim, before we crack into our discussion here for the evening, or at least for part of the discussion here. And that is, this is something that you have consistently tormented me with. Torment's the wrong word. But
I already know it's about. I already know what it's about to be. Go on.
Okay. Are you ready? You ready for this?
I'm ready as I always have been. So I say ready.
So I stole this lineup here from like a social media group. All right. And what we have here, we have Black Panther, and I have a gauntlet of different characters, and I want you to tell me how you think Black Panther would fare against each of these characters.
Now, forget me doing a battle royale. Okay, let's see.
Now, there's also another caveat here. The meme is structured, or it looks like it's supposed to be the MCU version of the characters. I want you to tell me how you think the MCU versions would do, but also how the comic book characters would do.
Okay. Right. Okay. Sure.
So this is gonna be Black Panther against 8 different characters here. So I want you to kind of tell me.
Do MCU version of Black Panther versus both MCU and comic book version of the opposing side.
Yeah. So MCU version of Black Panther and the comic book version of Black Panther.
I'll aim to make it short.
Yeah. Okay.
Short answers.
So I think the first one. Listen, if this first one isn't short, then we're in for a long night. All right. Yeah. So tell me, comic book version of Black Panther versus the comic book version of Star-Lord, Peter Quill.
Black Panther washes this nigga and keeps it moving.
Okay, what about the MCU versions?
The MCU version washes this nigga and keeps it moving.
Okay. All right.
Round, please.
Round 2, I think you might think about for at least a little bit. I'd imagine.
Some effort, please.
All right. Comic book character versions. Black Panther versus Winter Soldier.
Okay. All right. So man, this is a little difficult because it depends on what era Winter Soldier is in the comics. But I would say that current day Black Panther, with like the power to commune with the dead, low key, mid key washes Winter Soldier. I hate to say it,
mid difficulty.
I think in the suit with the powers that he now has, he washes Winter Soldier.
Gotcha.
The MCU version, damn near watched him in the movie. So I,
oh yeah.
So I don't know if he's still. I mean, I think in the movie, if Winter Soldier's activated, Black Panther has more of a problem. Mm-hmm. But if he's not activated, he gets washed.
Gotcha.
Is that a fair answer?
I think that's a very fair answer. It is also interesting because, like in the MCU, I'm pretty sure that Winter Soldier has like the Super Soldier Serum, or at least
he does.
Like a version.
He does. But I do think, and again, if he's activated, then he's also like on like the prime of his like martial ability.
Yeah.
Like in like kill mode, pretty much. And so I think that in the MCU, the direct counter to that is the fact that, well, first off, the arm is made from vibranium, and that nigga took that arm off. The Dora Milaje took his arm off in 3 hits and 3 finger taps, and I said boop boop boop, and the arm came clean off his body.
Your controller has been disconnected.
Yeah, so if they can do it, I'm pretty sure that T'Challa can also do that. And the suit is also like can like repulse any, can like surge, you know what I mean, like the energy back. So
yeah,
he wouldn't be that hard to beat.
That is a very fair argument. Yeah. All right. Round 3. I'm just going to go ahead and say this one's a comic book version first. Black Panther versus Hawkeye. Hey,
what are we doing here?
I didn't come up with this. All right,
I don't disrespect Hawkeye like this, bro. I really do not come here to disrespect Hawkeye like this. God, I like Hawkeye, bro, but he ain't finna beat T'Challa in either version.
That's the truth, man. It's like even if they start off like with Hawkeye having like a severe reach advantage, like even if they start off like 100 yards away, it's not gonna matter. What
does cat-like reflexes mean to you?
That's facts, though.
Like period. Also, save you the trouble. MCU version gets washed too. T'Challa was fighting like damn near 3 people at one time in the airport scene. Ain't no way that Hawkeye's about to do some shit to him in the MCU.
And I'm trying to think, like, what is there any trick arrow Hawkeye has that could? I can't think of anything. Okay, I'll throw Hawkeye some bail, right?
All right. In the comic book version, if we give this nigga preparation time to make an arrow, to counter the vibranium suit, maybe then I guess he has more of a option. But then again, the suit in the comic book doesn't really do all that extra surge and shit that it does in the movies. So I don't know if maybe he poisoned him. Actually, a gas arrow. I don't know, bro. But the short answer is no.
Yeah. It's no. It's no.
He does not win against T'Challa either way.
Round 4, Falcon.
What are we, bro?
I didn't come up with this.
Why are we just?
I promise you. It gets better. It gets better.
Okay, I hope so, because Falcon in the comic books is cool, but he's like low B tier, bro. In the comic books, T'Challa is a S tier hero, bro. Especially now, where again he's able to like talk to the Panther goddess,
right?
Or goddess, and like commune with like homeboy's getting washed. I hate to say it. In the MCU, he's getting washed even harder because even with the shield,
it's made of vibranium.
Even with the shield, it's made of vibranium, and homeboy literally created. It's not going to be again. The Falcon and Bucky Barnes barely held their own against U.S. Agent. He ain't gonna beat T'Challa.
That's a fair point. That's fair.
like, at all. Go on,
All
sorry.
right. So now I think things get interesting. Round 5, Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Okay, the first actual competition you brought up so far. Oh man, okay. I would say, oh damn, this is actually a really good one. Okay, I would say that this is something like a cop out, I think, but I truly think that this would end up being a stalemate where both of these men might just either knock each other out or just fight till they both collapse. And here's why: because Steve Rogers has been actively fighting niggas since the 50s.
Well, he was
so
frozen for quite some time.
Yeah, so combat experience. Oh yeah, true. So combat experience, just muscle memory alone, puts him at least on par with the ability to keep up with, I think, the cat-like reflexes. We're talking about the comic book version, right? Comic book versions of Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Comic book Steve Rogers has also
he punches above his weight class.
Fought niggas way above his weight class already. So I think that's like speed wise, T'Challa might be a little bit faster, but Cap literally plays defensively because he has a shield as a weapon. So I think that kind of cancels that out. I think T'Challa is equally strong as Cap. I think they're both. I think if anything, the Soldier Serum is just like a manufactured version of the heart
shaped herb. Yeah.
It's the same shit. So it kind of just one's just natural, one's manufactured.
Right.
I think that. So I think a stalemate would probably be what it
would be a long ass fight.
True. I mean, Cap fought Iron Man in suit.
Oh yeah, he was getting his ass whooped once.
That was almost a stalemate too.
Yeah. That's true.
So I can't say that he would do that much worse against T'Challa. MCU version of them, however. I do think that the edge goes to T'Challa because the suit can do a bunch of other shit that it can't do in the comics. So so the more Cap actually hits T'Challa in the movies, the more that suit's going to build up and just blow him away at some point, right? So, I think that Cap also hasn't, while he's cool in the movies, he hasn't quite matched the level of like martial prowess that he has in the comic books yet.
You look at his fight with Bucky and Winter Soldier, and I think that's like a prime example of like how capable he is against someone his level.
That's true. I think the only real edge goes to T'Challa because of the suit. I think if he found a way to disable the suit, I think that it would be a much equal like 1-to-1 fight. But I think because of the suit in the movies, T'Challa probably wins that.
Yeah. So my thoughts with this, I do completely agree with like the MCU take, and really I agree with like the comic book take too. But I think I lean slightly towards T'Challa in the comic book realm because and it's very little evidence to support it. But we do know that back during the World War II era, Cap found himself in Wakanda seeking aid. And the Black Panther of that time, not Bashinga, I forget his name. It'll probably come to me later on.
I don't know either, to be honest. I don't know his name.
T'Challa's dad, basically. So
T'Challa?
T'Chaka's dad. I'm sorry, T'Chaka's dad.
T'Chaka's dad. Yeah.
Yeah. So T'Challa's granddad, he came out and he fought Captain America. Now, granted, Cap really wasn't looking for a fight, but when there's a fight, Cap's gonna have to defend himself. And in that fight, Black Panther won. Now, granted, Cap did not have a vibranium shield for that fight because he had just shown up.
I'll give you this question.
No, he may have actually had the shield. No, he did. Yeah, sorry.
I'll add this caveat.
Yeah.
To my answer in the comic book version. If it's a fight to the death, T'Challa wins. Because Cap only wants to kill as a last resort.
Yeah.
However, T'Challa's coming out the gate. T'Challa with every bit of if it's a you're in my land and I'm coming to kill you, T'Challa wins. Yeah. Because Cap will defend himself, but he's not trying to kill someone unless he absolutely has to.
something else interesting that I learned, and this may or may not give T'Challa a slight edge, but I learned this recently. I was reading one of my Black Panther comics, and I didn't know this, but uh, the reason why T'Challa seems to always know, like when people try to steal vibranium or when they try to smuggle it out of the country, is because the heart-shaped herb actually gives, because it comes from rooted that was seeped within vibranium, he can trace it. So he always knows where it is. So if you were to steal like a bar of vibranium and smuggle it in your pants pockets, in or out of the suit, T'Challa would be able to look at you and tell that you have vibranium. He'll be able to, from miles away, be able to tell, okay, I know that, yeah.
Yeah. It's also not far-fetched because vibranium is an alien metal.
Right.
So it's not to say that it functions the same way that rocks and earth do. Like it functions the way that alien metals function.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But yeah, I think that comic book. I'll use this last metric as a point to my point. Comic book T'Challa has fought way higher heights than comic book Captain America has. 1v1, I mean.
I look at it like this too, and this is one of my favorite one of my favorite Black Panther feats, and I talk about it all the time. But it's during the incursion angle when Thanos, he first introduces the Black Order, and the Black Order, their job is to go out and gather up all the Infinity Gems, and so each of the Black Orders goes to different areas, and it's Cole Obsidian, I think is his name. He goes like the big hulking nigga from from
the movies, with the like anchored weapon.
In the comics, he goes to Wakanda because Namor has dropped dime on T'Challa and saying that, hey, the Wakandas, the Wakandas have they have one of the Infinity Gems. And T'Challa steps forth and says, I am T'Challa, ruler of Necropolis, city of the dead, soon to be your leader. One of the coldest lines I've ever read.
Nasty work, bro. Nasty. I mean, even just using Namor, I think T'Challa's fought Namor 1v1, and Namor is both faster and stronger than Cap. So in the water, I mean, fresh out of the water. So, I mean, there's that. But
and T'Challa, this big ass, strong ass alien dude, T'Challa he breaks his arm and sends him packing.
This fool. Yeah. Washes him.
Crazy.
T'Challa's also fought Doom in his prime. So like 1v1, I'm talking about like head up. So I think that T'Challa would win, especially if it's a sparring match. I think it's equal. But if it's a fight to the death, T'Challa wins.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, round 6, Shang-Chi.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. This might be T'Challa's first L. I think. So comic versions first. Shang-Chi in the comics is nasty, bro. Homeboy. Has a history of not losing hand-to-hand combat. So I'm gonna say, and without the ability of the movies to like blow back that like energy stored up, I will give him this. I think that the only edge T'Challa has in this is that I think that his endurance, because of the herb, and because of the suit does soak up some impact, and because of the suit, I think he will outlast Shang-Chi in the long run if the fight goes longer than a few hours. I do, however, think that if he doesn't put him down fast and quick, he will just get like chakras jammed and be laid the fuck out.
Listen, like in the comic, if we're talking about comic books, T'Challa's gonna have to get crafty if he wants to beat Shang-Chi. Like, I mean, like we're talking about.
Doesn't Shang-Chi have magic in the comics too? He has like mystic arts in the comics too, a little bit, not as much as like Iron Fist, but he can like. What are you doing?
Well, that's the interesting thing. Like most of his like quote unquote powers, like he's just a really good fucking martial artist. Like he can channel his chi, sure, but like
that's what it is.
There's no Dragon Ball Z shit going on. This motherfucker just knows how to fight. I mean, he is a living weapon, more so than Iron Fist.
Oh yeah, Iron Fist is just a low-key knockoff of him. But if you're being real, I do think that again, like I think that his Will is indomitable in a lot of ways, but I do think he is also human. So I think that whereas like T'Challa is kind of in a way like superhuman at this point because of the herb. So I do think his overall endurance will last longer in a fight than Shang-Chi's endurance will. But as far as fighting goes, if you don't put Shang-Chi down quick, it's wraps for Homeboy because
gosh, yeah.
You mute yourself? Can you hear you?
No, I can hear you. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I would just say that I think that in terms of comic books, I got to give the edge to Shang-Chi. Like when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, it's going to be so. Like, can T'Challa do it? Yes, but if they were to fight 100 times, I think that Shang-Chi would win more.
That's fair. Okay, yeah. With that metric, I agree that if it's a metric of how many times they fight versus like wins versus losses over the long run, I do think that Shang-Chi would win more times than T'Challa would win. Yeah, simply because I think that Shang-Chi's also, I don't know if he's faster, but he feels faster. I don't know if he actually is faster or not.
It's close, right? He might be.
His hands are faster for damn sure.
Oh yeah. Now, what about MCU versions?
This is hard.
It's hard for me. I think that T'Challa washes him.
Huh?
I think that T'Challa washes the MCU version.
This is hard because we don't know what the rings do.
Oh, we know what they do. They light up and they travel 2 feet.
They light up and travel 2 feet, and they can bounce you into the air, and they can come apart, and you can like throw them around, and they become a shield sometimes. And didn't one like choke a dragon or some shit? I don't really know.
I mean, but it's like what? Oh yeah, those bracelets are, first of all, they're not fucking rings; they're bracelets.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, and
you're absolutely correct. My bad.
Correct. Yeah, and secondly, it's like I feel like anything those bootleg knockoff bracers can do would have not the effect he's looking for against the MCU vibranium suit. Like I think that like that kind of energy absorption and redistribution would fuck Shang-Chi up.
Yeah, I probably would agree with that. I think that my only question is how hard do the rings hit? I guess Black Panther took a hit from Thanos in that suit.
Yeah.
and survived.
Important note, yeah.
The rings hit hard enough to like break rocks. And a mountainside, I guess, which is pretty hard.
But see, that's a hard metric to judge because like Shang-Chi got hit by them, and his dad, the Mandarin, got hit by them, and so it's like
and the shield and the rings also can form a shield, and I guess he can also like mystically control them with his like he can like spin them around his body and shit Katana's blades, right? Or fans. So I would say that MCU T'Challa, if the rings can do only the things we've seen them do so far, then I think that T'Challa would win that fight. I assume they're probably gonna do more than that. I don't know the after credit scene of Shang-Chi's hinting that there's something more than they seem. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But which would make sense because I hate to see I guess, man, it's hard. This is really difficult because like if you were to put Shang-Chi with the Mandarin's rings in the comic book, T'Challa's getting uber washed. T'Challa's getting
if anyone has the Mandarin's rings, the person on the opposing side is going to get washed.
We're talking about the nigga that is the best martial artists known in existence.
Yeah,
with the Mandarin's rings.
Like the real, like from the comic books, like those 10 rings, they wreck Iron Man on the regular basis,
I feel like in the comic books, if we were to put the same combination of things, because you have the Mandarin's rings and Shang-Chi in the movies, but if you were to put the same Mandarin's rings and Shang-Chi in the comic books, it would just be a parade of this nigga walking up and down the back of T'Challa.
Oh yeah, that'd be ugly.
So, but I would say in the long run, the short answer is that T'Challa would win the movie for damn sure, and and I'm willing to give, if stalemate's an option, I'm willing to give stalemate to the comic book, but I would probably, from what you said, have to edge Shang-Chi, I think.
I think I have to give a slight edge to Shang-Chi there. All right, this next one. This next is interesting. I think we may have a few examples of this actually.
Okay.
T'Challa versus Namor, the Submariner.
I mean, isn't this like one of his main villains?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how. I mean, this is truly a
coin toss. I mean,
toss. If Namor in the comics is that bitch, so
yeah.
Namor in the comics traditionally only fights on his own turf, meaning near the water, by the water, in the water.
Yep.
The one exception I can think of is when he came out to back Captain America up in Civil War, when he brought his army. So if that is kept the same, then T'Challa has to go fight Namor by the water, in the water, near the water,
which is not
smart. It's a wash for T'Challa.
It's a wash for Namor. You might remember this, but remember, I think it was doing like the New Avengers run with the Illuminati when they were discussing what they should do with Bruce Banner. And they were all in agreement that they should send Bruce Banner into space, but Namor was like, "No, he a real one. Like we're not just gonna send that nigga into space." And
Namor the first guy that the Hulk fought in the comics ever? In the first Avengers comic, it wasn't the one they fighting Namor.
It might have been.
Or the Submariner, I guess, but same person.
But remember, like Tony said some slick shit to Namor, and then Namor don't like that. He ain't gonna deal with Tony's mouth. And so they go outside, and actually Namor knocks him outside, I think. And they start brawling, and Namor's about to kill Iron Man. I mean, but granted, they are over the water and in the water. Thankfully, Doctor Strange breaks that shit up. But I'm like, if Namor can just, I mean, granted they were in the water, but seeing what Namor could do to Iron Man, and he seemed to do so pretty easily. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, again, like his power is directly tied to the water. So if you the closer to the water you are, especially if you're standing in it, the higher chance is going to be a bad wash for you. Like he's so. The best thing that they did in the movie, and it was to get him out the water onto that like sandy ass beach, and even then with the herb, Shuri damn near couldn't handle him. So
she got impaled.
A whole plane wreck, and he's been impaled, and even then she almost still couldn't handle him. So I'm gonna say in the comic books, Namor, especially if he's near if Namor fights traditionally like he normally does, Namor washes because he fights near the water and in the water. If it's on land, if he's been out of water, say he's been out of water for a while, I'd say that's more of a draw. I'm willing to bet that both those guys are pretty much equal. I'd give the slight chance to T'Challa because Namor will get weaker.
Yeah,
he's out of the water. But
so, when it comes to the comic books, right? That one is so tough for me to gauge. Because you're right, Namor does like to fight in his own turf, but so does T'Challa. Like T'Challa, he's way too smart. He's not gonna fight Namor in the water. But
see, that's when Namor brings the water to his ass.
But also on the flip side, though, I was gonna say
that's true.
T'Challa, I think that T'Challa strategically is smarter than Namor, and I think he's shown that. He knows that Namor's hubris is his weakness. T'Challa I'm not gonna say easily, but he can goad Namor into just coming inland. We've seen him do that. And all T'Challa has to do is say the right shit that he knows will get under Namor's skin. And now we gotta fight
you're
on
right.
land.
You're right. The problem I think with this fight is that T'Challa is not not afraid. T'Challa is more prone to fighting by himself.
Yeah.
Namor, if you say too much of the wrong shit, will just bring his entire military force. Like, homeboy, we're running with the entire Atlantean military.
That's true.
And I think that while I fully agree that you can goad Namor, I think that tends to make him only hit you harder a lot of the time. And I would say that he's also not afraid of retreating for tactical advantage. Because the one thing you do see Namor do when he is getting beat, even in the comic books, is he does just fly back to the ocean. So it's not a thing where it's difficult because this would have to be like a series of battles. It couldn't just be like a one-on-one fight, because that wouldn't tell you anything. You know what I mean? It depends on where they are, how long they've been out of the water, who's around. You know what I mean? Like a number of things. So I think if we do the metric where like over a series of 100 battles, who wins the most, I think I don't want to stalemate again. This is a cop out. I'm gonna probably say T'Challa in the comics, only because his powers and abilities are more steady, whereas Namor is kind of waft and wane depending on water vicinity. So the longer he's out of the water, the more he gets hit, the weaker he gets. Which is not to say that he's still going to be weak, because Homie at his weakest isn't weak by any real means.
I mean, he can still give Ben Grimm the business, you know, so he ain't weak by no stretch.
Yeah, throw cars and shit. So Homeboy is not weak by any real means, but he does waft and wane the more he gets out of the water and gets beat up. Whereas T'Challa still kind of steadily keeps that. He has the same energy level and ability and power scale no matter where he's at. So I think that's kind of why I would edge T'Challa in the comics. In the movie, well, John's dead. But in the movie,
oh Jesus, yeah.
Namor would. Looking at what Namor did to Wakanda in the movie, this is hard. I'm going to say that Namor. Oh, fuck, dude, I don't want to give T'Challa an L, but I'm gonna probably say that in the movies it looked a lot more like Namor. Back it up. Your point you made earlier was that T'Challa in the comic books is more tactically smart than Namor. Yeah. That's true. I think that's true in the comics. I think that what we've seen from T'Challa so far is a lot of like young T'Challa, very less like a young pig-headedness. Like he ran to go find Bucky Barnes after he thought he blew up the embassy. Right. He's very headstrong. I think he just got to the point where he's like more tactical at the end of dealing with Killmonger, but Namor clearly is like way more advanced, like tactically, because Homeboy literally like, all right, I'll be the water to you. So he literally flooded Wakanda and then like ran in with his people. So I would say that like tactically in the movies, Namor has an advantage. Namor is clearly faster than that nigga by a lot. In the movies, he's like flying ship speed. I think that Namor hits harder in the movies than T'Challa does. And honestly, I'm trying to think, but if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong about this. But doesn't Namor have some sort of like tough skin situation because of living on the bottom of the ocean, where he's like not bulletproof, but doesn't he have some sort of? I'm thinking about Aquaman. One of the niggas has like some sort of like skin toughness situation because they live on the ocean floor.
Yeah, so we know he does have the superhero gambit of like flight, speed, agility, and strength. And so he does have that, and like you can't just shoot Namor with a fucking gun. You're gonna be in for a long day.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is like I think that like from what we've seen in the comic or in the movies from T'Challa's claws, I think if he's trying to damage him with just them claws, it's gonna be a long day for him if he's fighting him with just claws.
So here's the thing. I say this at the risk of sounding sexist, but it's not.
Oh no.
If Shuri can do it, T'Challa can definitely do it.
Shuri barely did it. No, she did it.
She did it. She did do it. And the reason I say that isn't it had anything to do with her being a woman. It has everything to do with T'Challa being born and bred for this shit. And
backing up real quick.
Okay.
Real quick.
Yep.
Did Shuri do it without help? In a one-on-one fight, would Shuri do it?
I mean, but who else fought? It was just those two on the beach.
Wasn't the whole plan to get it up in that ship to take the heat,
dehydrate him,
to get the water off of him?
Yeah,
and the ship crashed. Right. So it wasn't like he wasn't already weakened.
And that's true. But I think T'Challa would probably do some same shit, you know, if he, or something. He wouldn't fly him over the fucking ocean, but you know he would.
Probably not. Probably not.
Oh,
Oh yeah, you're right.
it's weird, right? Because like I can see both versions going either way, like the comic book versions and the MCU versions going either way. But I think for me in the comics, I lean slightly towards. It's hard to say, man. Maybe I lean slightly towards Namor in the comics. Um,
I'll put it like this: we
yeah,
have seen Namor by himself
yeah,
do some absolutely outrageous shit to niggas who who he should not be able to do it to.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Doom, Tony Stark.
Uh huh.
You know what I mean? We have seen him absolutely almost murder a host of niggas by him
Oh yeah.
by himself
By
on
himself.
land.
Yeah.
So I could see what you're. I would say Namor for that reason, because even again at his weakest, he's still as strong as one of the stronger people in Marvel.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
You know
like
what I
you know,
mean?
Namor suffers like you know how like when you play a video game, right, and you come up to the big boss of the video game, and then you beat the boss, and
Yeah.
then in the next playthrough you get to play as the boss, like the guy you just beat,
Yeah.
and then but when
hmm
you play as him, he's way weaker than what he was when you fought him. So
yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
kind of how Namor is, right? When he's a villain, he's this big, strong, damn near impossible to beat fish. But
Fish.
but 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 when he is more of a good guy, you notice that he's not written to have that same type of killer instinct or prowesses.
That's true. He does. He does. Well, when he's anti-hero, I should say.
Yeah, yeah, anti-hero. Yeah.
True. I do think, however, it's because a lot of the time when he's an anti-hero, it's because he's dealing directly with Sue Storm. Like a lot of the time, he's directly across from or off put by Sue having to go down and talk to him, and he's like had a thing with and for her for a long time, and
Oh
so
yeah.
there's like this softening of the character because love interest is present. That happens, I think,
Now
where
if
in a lot of the rooms where he's like a villain, in the Illuminati, for example,
yeah.
he don't give a fuck about none of the niggas in the room, so they're about to catch all these hands.
That's facts.
um, but yeah, that's my answer. I would say I would. So I'm going to lean more towards Namor in the comics, because of the feats we've seen him do on land to
Yeah.
people who again are like S tier people, like Iron Man, for example. And in here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, okay, do you honestly though think, straight up,
Yeah.
if it was a fight where Namor was fresh out the water against Shuri on land, do you think that fight would have went that same way?
No.
Homeboy stabbed out. Damn, just set a harpoon through an entire ship by his damn self. I don't.
Well,
I don't.
he harpooned Shuri, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Whoa. Let me say whether back in a non-sexual way, okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just for clarification.
Yeah, just so all the ladies out there, in a non-sexual way.
Just in the murderous way.
He did. Yeah, he pinned her ass to a fucking rock, and then was on his way back to the water. So
Yeah.
I truly don't think that in a fair, quote unquote, fair fight where he's fresh out the water and she's coming to meet him on the beach on land or whatever the case is, that fight would have went anywhere close to that. I think that she had a lot of, and again, I'm not trying to downplay Shuri because she's cool. She's cool. The movie was cool and all that, but I do think she had a lot of pre-help to get to the point where she was able to 1v1 this man, because again, he had been in like a heat chamber for however long they were flying over the ocean. He was fighting in a desert damn near when they landed. He's fighting on like a dry ass, deserty ass beach. So, but she did beat him. So I kind of have to say that I have to give the credit to say maybe T'Challa if he was. But see, this this is also difficult, bro, because the one thing we know about T'Challa is that he loses his shit when his family is hurt. That's what because like the reason that he went to America in the first place to get Bucky Barnes because Bucky Barnes he thought killed his dad.
Right.
If Namor killed his mom, I don't think that T'Challa would be in the like peaceful. Let me think about this tactically mind state. Sure, he wasn't.
Sure, he wasn't. But you know, I still think that T'Challa would be more technically minded with it than Shuri was, and a lot of that comes down to experience still. And I will say this also: we know this based off of more comic book evidence. T'Challa's not afraid to kill Namor. He's done it before.
I mean, Namor ain't afraid to kill a nigga either because he tried to kill Shuri on the beach with a spear. So, but yeah, I agree. Okay, I guess maybe the problem is that we haven't really seen Namor do a whole lot 1v like at full power 1v1 someone in the movies yet. And that's probably we will because he's still in the MCU, so we will eventually, but we haven't now. So. But yeah, that's a very long answer for a very complex question. But yes, that's my answer.
So this last one, I think, is probably going to be a lot shorter. This one,
I have one for you when we're done with this. I have one for you.
Okay. I'll go ahead and say this. I think that I love T'Challa, but I think he takes a double L on this one, or at least one. He at least takes one. The final opponent in the Gauntlet. T'Challa versus Peter Parker.
Oh, it's mine. Okay, I was gonna say I was gonna ask you that. Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and give T'Challa the L for the movies already. You know what? Take it back. He's for sure catching the L in the comics.
Yeah,
Spider-Man in the comics.
Come on. Yeah.
Does not fuck around at all in any capacity. Now, I think that maybe his claws could cut through webbing.
Sure.
Maybe. So maybe he can't like wrap him up as easily. But
by the time he cuts that webbing, he don't caught a 58 piece. You feel me? Like
and that suit ain't gonna reverberate nothing back in the comics. So he's just catching all them to the face. Like, I do think that if he lands a hit, his hits will be more or a scratch or whatever you call what he does. I think that his hits will be more devastating than like the flurry maybe that Peter will throw because he's gonna go for the jugular and shit. But I do think that like
Peter also holds back.
Who also holds back? So I think that like he's catching the L in the comics. That's just what that is.
Yeah.
Hate to say it, is what it is. Now in the movie, Tom Holland.
You call this man by his full name.
Tom Holland was about 2 milliseconds away from getting murdered up by damn near every villain he's been fighting up against so far.
That's the Spider-Man way.
The Green Goblin slammed this nigga through 3 floors of building. And then murdered his aunt and rode off into the sunset. I don't think...
Oh shit!
And that I remind you is the Green Goblin. So that is not Green Goblin is nowhere close to T'Challa's strength, speed, agility, reflexes.
If you think about it, by technicality, Green Goblin would have to because Green Goblin consistently runs Spider-Man's fade.
Well. Spider-Man also holds back against the Green Goblin because he's his best friend's dad. So
he does until he doesn't, Yeah.
He doesn't. I mean, and he has beat the Green Goblin a couple times when they merged with Carnage. He's but like I think what the Green Goblin is more than T'Challa is durable. I think the Green Goblin, if you do like a sliding ability scale, those in the comic they do like those power rankings or whatever. I think that the Green Goblin has a much higher durability rating than the ability to take hits and keep coming. Is the Green Goblin's strongest feat.
I think that the Goblin's advantage over what T'Challa would have against Spider-Man is one, his arsenal. I mean that glider, like the ability, for flight. That actually does a lot against Spider-Man by itself, and then also like those pumpkin bombs. I mean, those things fuck people up too.
They do. I just haven't. I just haven't seen.
Now, I will say this to your credit, like the serum that Osborn takes, I don't think is as potent as the heart shaped herb.
Oh no,
Yeah, and
no
also it makes you crazy, so there's that.
side effect. Yeah, I was going to say that Norman Osborn, as Green Goblin, he is not tactically. He is not going for the tactics. You know what I'm saying? Homeboy is throwing bombs. He's blowing up buildings. He's running your ass through concrete. He's not trying to think about how to defeat you. You know what I mean? In a tactical way. I do think that. Okay, I'll do it one by one. Speed ranking. I think that T'Challa and Spider-Man are probably equally fast. I think that the difference there is that Spider-Man has. Shaw has like cat-like reflexes, which take it for whatever that means. And Spider-Man has the spider sense. I would give the sled edge to the spider sense over that, because I think that is an actual ability that physically moves him out of the way of attacks. Now, however, T'Challa again did fight Bucky Barnes and Captain America in the movies, and held his own just fine. So I don't think that he had a problem with
though. In the movies, Peter Parker fought Falcon and Winter Soldier with low difficulty.
I want you to run those names back again. Which one?
Okay. Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And Falcon.
And Falcon.
Put some respect on that man's name.
No. Peter Parker did fight a joking around, jovial Winter Soldier. When T'Challa fought Winter Soldier, it was not for funsies. Homo was not laughing. Homo was not guffawing and kikiing it up. He was about to die. He was about to pass away. When he fought Spider-Man, however, them two niggas were arguing half the fight. Them fools were making jokes and being like, "Oh, get out of my way!" Like, not the same. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Shit. I don't think that Spider-Man can do enough damage to T'Challa in the MCU version to subdue him. Again,
he doesn't have the experience. Think about it like this.
But also, I remind you again, Spider-Man got chokeslammed through 3 floors of building and damn near passed away himself on the ground floor.
Yeah.
T'Challa tanked a Thanos hit.
That's true.
And got up.
Not immediately. Not immediately, but he got up. Yeah.
Not immediately, but he did rise.
Right.
And he got dusted. He get up.
I will say this also for T'Challa in terms of like the MCU version. I forget which. It must have been Homecoming. And Spider-Man: Homecoming. Peter's talking with Tony, and he's trying to convince Tony that he's ready for the big leagues or whatever. And Peter says, I almost beat Captain America, and Tony kind of scoffs and goes, "If Cap wanted to put you down, he would have."
Period.
And, yeah.
Which is true for most iterations of Spider-Man.
and so I'm like, with the math that we have up here, we know that T'Challa and Cap, we can at least agree that they're about equal. You feel me?
And MCU, they're the same.
Yeah,
equal. Yeah.
I mean, even in the comic books, they're really neck and neck.
They're close.
Yeah. And so if we can agree that, and if we take what Tony said seriously, that if Cap wanted to put him down, he would have, then you kind of have to think that if T'Challa so chose to, he would kill that kid.
Yeah. Again, here's the thing. I think that to your point, and I agree, if it's a fight to the death, there's nothing Peter Parker can do, bro. Peter Parker's catching all. Again, he barely survived his own villains in his movie with help from 2 more versions of him. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, in his defense, T'Challa fucking died in Black Panther 1. He went to Black Panther heaven. And
from cancer, bro, not from hands.
No. I'm talking about in the first movie. Like he goes to the ancestral plane.
Yes, he does. He does get. Well, isn't it because he? Well, isn't it because he drank the herb though?
It might be.
He didn't die from hands. He died because he had to drink the herb, and the herb kills you, basically.
Well, no, because the herb brought him back.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. because he gets thrown off the waterfall,
off the fucking cliff.
Yeah, and Shuri and gang find his body and they parade him around.
He was thrown off the cliff when he didn't have his powers or his suit. He was just a regular nigga with a spear and got kicked off got kicked off the fucking off the cliff. But you are right, he did get beat. But I guess I'm saying, like, when you see him with the suit on, he wasn't losing no fight, no fades to really anybody, including the copy of himself, Killmonger. Yeah. So I would say this. I would say in finality, I would say the comic book version, the current Peter Parker in comic books still watches current comic book. Well, still watches current comic version of T'Challa. Mm-hmm. Even more so, the scale goes up if Spider-Man's angry. Like if Spider-Man's like hurt or angry, that scale only gets worse.
A scary Spider, I mean, an angry Spider-Man is a scary Spider-Man. You don't want to make that man. Yeah, you don't make him mad.
Damn near anti-hero at that point, but he's super terrifying. In the movies, I'm going to probably say, just because of the fact that, again, Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker is damn near still in high school, fresh out of high school at this point. So he's not anywhere near the point of comic book Peter Parker yet in tech, in skill.
I tell you what, I want to see how this version of Peter would do against Kraven the Hunter. And then that would kind of give me a metric, You
think Kraven's equal to T'Challa?
I think that it would be more of an indicator to see how Peter would do against somebody like that. Somebody who has nature on their side, who has supreme senses, who knows how to hunt. Somebody who...
That's true.
So, I mean, I think that would at least tell us a little bit about how Peter would do against someone like that. Because Kraven's not exactly a pushover,
That is true. That's true. I think that, I also kind of think that T'Challa in the movies anyway seems to know how to use the shadows more, which you might not think it may not mean a whole lot because of Spider Sense, but I do think that like I don't know, like he does seem more tactically aware than Spider-Man does in general. I think like the whole scene in in Black Panther 1 where he like kills those like dudes in the Jeep where you don't even see him. He's just like in the trees, I think that kind of shows like he's. And he has those beads. I don't know what those beads even do.
Whatever the plot wanted them to do, really.
Yeah. So I mean, he has those beads that can do kind of whatever he wants them to do, create smoke screens and whatever else. So maybe he can. Right. Who knows? But I'm gonna say T'Challa in the movies for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think I would mostly also agree with that. Yeah, because
here's a question for you.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, go on. My question for you was T'Challa versus Wolverine, comic book and movie.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, let's start with comic book. Okay. Oh my gosh, T'Challa versus Logan. I say that
is it kind of? I say similar abilities, yeah.
Yeah. I say they sit down and have a drink and
boo this man. This man trying to cop out hard as fuck. You hear this shit, homie?
Shit. Okay. You're right. Similar abilities. I mean, Wolverine is such a fucking tank. But here's the thing people forget about Wolverine, right? Technically speaking, Wolverine is durable, but he's not as durable as people think he is. Because here's what I mean by that, right? So take Wolverine and Colossus, and let's say that there's a tank, right? And the tank shoots Colossus. The smoke is going to clear, and Colossus is going to maybe be on one knee, but he's going to get back up and keep marching forward. Yeah. If Wolverine gets hit by that same tank shell, Wolverine's going to be in pieces. Right, and he's
bones.
Yeah, you'll see, but you'll see chunks of his flesh everywhere, and it's gonna take him some time to bring all that shit back together. I say all that just to demonstrate that Wolverine is durable, but you can definitely incapacitate him.
Oh yes,
yeah. But with that being said, though, T'Challa is not a tank. He's not shooting tank rounds.
You would miss with the tank.
Yeah,
you would
exactly.
just miss. You just dodge it.
T'Challa's advantage here is that he is faster than Logan. That adamantium does weigh him down. It just does.
Yeah.
But the issue is though is that like even if T'Challa is a better hand-to-hand combatant, which T'Challa is a better hand-to-hand combatant than Logan, the problem is that you're not dealing with somebody who's fighting with 2 arms and 2 legs. You're dealing with somebody who has 2 arms, 2 legs, and 6 claws. You know, and that's always a variable to deal with. Now, a vibranium suit can withstand some of that, but it's gonna get through eventually, especially if it's a pierce and not a slash. And so, and also on top of that, with like the berserker rage that Wolverine goes into, if he so chooses to have that berserker fury thing happen, that's either where T'Challa wins or where T'Challa loses. You feel me? Because like if T'Challa is aware of this berserker rage, he can do that to just throw Logan off, because Logan is a mindless animal during that. So he can, if he's strategic enough and knows about this, he can clever his way to a victory during that. But if he's not aware of that or isn't ready for that, that berserker fury is gonna be the end for T'Challa.
Okay, yeah, I fully agree. So pause there on this. When we get in the MCU in a minute, I think that the short answer for me was Wolverine, probably in the long run.
Yeah,
obviously because it can't be a fight to the death, because only one of them niggas is gonna die.
Right. Yeah.
Keeping it real, but also because the difference between, and consider this, the difference for Wolverine in fighting Sabretooth and fighting T'Challa is speed. That's it. Because Sabretooth is just a bigger, maybe stronger in some ways, slower version of how T'Challa would normally fight, which is with claws. Like, because Sabretooth uses his like.
To add to that though, we got to remember this. For years, Sabretooth would show up on Wolverine's birthday and beat that nigga's ass. Every year. Sabretooth used to bully Wolverine, and people forget about that.
That's not counting when he would just catch him in the streets on an average day.
It was always on sight.
Those were planned ass beatings. So not counting the beatings when he just be out and about.
It was always on sight with Sabretooth, man. If I see Wolverine, I'm gonna beat his ass every time.
So if I caught you lacking, I'd beat your ass too. but that's what I'm saying. I think the only real difference in application and fighting, from what I've seen anyway, from fighting T'Challa to fighting Sabretooth, is that Sabretooth is just slower and bigger. Like that's
true. That's a good comparison.
Literally fight this with the same like claw formations. That's kind of the difference. So and I would even say Sabretooth might be a little harder because Sabretooth also heals. So like he can't just just gank Sabretooth and kill him, because Sabretooth would be like, oh nigga, I heal the same way you do, bro. Like what the fuck you do? I mean, a little slower than you. Yeah. But enough to count. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
And there's no real way in the comic books anyway, for T'Challa with claws, to subdue Wolverine fast enough that he can't heal from. So for example, let's say T'Challa went for his jugular. He just jumped on his back and just sliced all of Wolverine's like shit up on his neck, jugular fat. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That wouldn't stop Wolverine fast enough for the fight to end, because again, he might stop for a hot second and like regain his, you know what I'm saying, like be like, oh, what the fuck, dude, and like, but then that's healed all up in like a couple of minutes, if not faster than that.
I think the only pushback I have against that is that Wolverine, like we said, he can still be incapacitated, he can still be knocked out, and you
just punch him real hard. Hulk's done it before, so I mean, it's the Hulk though. So
the Hulk punched him to the point where Wolverine's brain turned to mush.
Yeah, it's the Hulk though.
Which theoretically should have killed Wolverine, because that's where his pituitary gland and like the mutant healing factor genome. Anyways, hey,
we're gonna just let that.
We'll just let that slide. Yeah, we don't. We'll need to talk about all that.
Magneto ripped off his bones, which shouldn't be able to happen either. So we're gonna let it happen.
Yeah, because theoretically, that just would have ripped Wolverine's whole skeleton out, and he'd just be a mess. Yeah,
like so we're gonna just let it. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is.
Speaking, if that's the case, then Deadpool, when he gets ripped in half, should be two Deadpools because he should grow back a bottom half and actually grow back a top half.
Yeah,
but we're gonna just
we move on. Yeah.
In the movies, however, what's your answer for the MCU? Which is hard because Wolverine movies kind of have a bad habit of being real old and clanky. So, your best guess, though.
Man, my best guess, I might have to give this one to T'Challa. I look at the movies and hey, I enjoy those movies, especially Logan. I think Logan is a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, a masterpiece, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely. But however, Wolverine's who we're talking about.
Yeah, let's use Wolverine from the movie Wolverine, the second one.
Fair.
I think that's prime Wolverine right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes up against like the Silver Samurai, and he
gets poisoned with a bunch of arrows.
Yeah.
In the streets.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go with that Wolverine, the Wolverine who's fighting ninjas and samurai. Like, okay,
yeah,
I think that's a good comparison to use. This version of Wolverine, any version of Wolverine, is going to be a real bitch to deal with, and and so the thing of it is here is that okay, we are using this version of Wolverine, but he has his healing factor. Okay, so in the movie they disable his healing factor for a while. We're going with the idea that Wolverine has his full healing factor.
Yes, yeah.
The difference though is this: we know that in the comic books, Wolverine is a very skilled fighter who knows various forms of martial arts. That's not really a thing in the movies.
I was gonna say, where is that at in the movie? Where is that at all, bro?
In the movies, we have right slash and left slash.
and double stab.
And double stab. That's right.
Yeah.
And I think that Logan would try that like 2 or 3 times and realize, okay, this motherfucker is dodging everything.
Not just dodging, but countering my shit. Like dodging and roundhousing me in the fucking
yeah.
That's how it was with Captain America. He was like, he threw the shield and he would like block and then reach over the shield with the fucking claw.
Yeah.
Like, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just blocking. Homer was like both. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think Wolverine to your point, I think Wolverine in the movies relies heavily on the healing factor to just get him through shit. He just tanks hits. You just take him and keep going. We haven't really seen the Berserker rage a lot in the movies. We saw it maybe.
We see it in Logan at the end when he takes the serum. Yeah,
we do.
We see it there.
And it didn't look like that. That wouldn't have beat T'Challa. We were being real. Like it just. So and let's also keep in mind that Logan has been knocked out a couple of times in the movies. He's been shot in the head one time, knocked him out twice actually. Once in the X-Men movies, shot him in the head.
You're right.
Knocked him clean out. Yep. Of course, the animated bullet knocked him out. Of course. Mm-hmm. The tree that Sabretooth hit his ass with knocked him clean the fuck out.
Not clean. Juggernaut knocked him out. Yeah.
Juggernaut knocked his ass clean.
Wolverine has CTE, is what we're getting at, folks.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. And so it's not like Wolverine in the movies hasn't been incapacitated a couple times. Homeboy has been clocked a couple times.
But who of T'Challa's stature has KO'd him?
KO'd him. That's a good question. Yeah. No one, but I guess the question becomes who of his stature Mystique. I was gonna say whose stature has been like as acrobatic as I was gonna say. I think Mystique's the only one I think who has been Lady Deathstrike, I guess too, has been Deathstrike's been a better example. Deathstrike's been the only one who's been like as like agile as T'Challa, because most people he fights that are his stature aren't.
I would say in the movies, it looked like Mystique was just way more like athletic and agile. I mean,
that's true.
I mean, I gotta be honest. Like in that first X-Men movie, Mystique gave Wolverine the business.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, she was on his ass, bro. So yeah, I would say Wolverine's caught hands from people his size more more often than he has not done that. So I would say T'Challa would have a better chance being his size than he would having being Sabretooth, because he's beat Sabretooth, he beat Silver Samurai, he beat Deathstroke. He beat her, but he beat her by stabbing her with the adamantium like tube
that's
thing.
Right, because he beat her with
his ass.
Yeah. She was all on his ass,
beating the face off this nigga. So if that's what we have to go off of, I would say that this Wolverine in the movies is not nearly equipped to handle like agile opponents. As we've seen. And T'Challa is the definition of that. So yeah, T'Challa probably with the movies for me. But yeah, sorry, thanks for answering the question. I just figured I'd toss one out there because I knew you'd have it.
I wanted to talk for a little bit here about something a little bit deeper, if we have the time here.
We do. I got time. Oh, it's late for you. I know you're over there in the Southern lands.
Oh yeah, let me tell you. I wanted to talk about the philosophy of the X-Men. So it's pretty ironic that we've been mentioning, several X-Men here tonight. But when I say the philosophy of the X-Men, I mean, what is it that the X-Men stand for to you? What do you think they represent? And I'm not even fishing for anything here. I mean, and also like what core elements of the X-Men, do you want to see in the upcoming MCU movies whenever they decide to bring in the X-Men?
That's an excellent question. Okay, so for starters, I should say that I'll answer your questions backwards in a way. In that the core for me of what drew me to the X-Men is the comparison between the civil rights movement and the X-Men, which is in a lot of ways, if not directly correlated between the two. Professor Xavier is modeled after Martin Luther King Jr. and Magneto is modeled after Malcolm X. In the way that they go about, one's very much like let's live together in peace, and one's very much let's live separate but equal. And I think that was the original thought for me. And then of course the struggle of like being exactly the same as humans except for one DNA strand. We are literally the same as you, except for the fact that we have one extra thing that you just don't have. Right. You know what I mean? And as a black man, I think, not to get too deep, but I think as a black man, I think that part of the magic of the X-Men is being able to tell a story that directly mirrors my people I know is like direct life without beating someone over the head with it. You know what I mean? Like looking at the X-Men, like this is a direct mirror to like civil rights movement and like the struggle that black people have today, and trying to get like police brutality and stuff like this, and be seen and have the same rights as everyone else in the country, I think. And the X-Men have that same sort of struggle where they for different reasons, maybe because they are like, some of them are actively, and I guess some black people are actively criminals, but like some of them are actively out here murdering people. Right. In X-Men's case, like they're just,
that makes it more complex,
It's complex.
And if I can be honest, like, not to cut you off because I want to hear what you have to say here, but
please.
I think that like the original first few X-Men movies, I mean, sure they're dated now, but I think that they did a great job of like showing that dynamic of one hand of showing the mutant experience, but keeping it a superhero movie, but also not being preachy or pandering or trying to overexert themselves to like the comparisons that people make between like the civil rights era and the X-Men, and that's where I get afraid for like Marvel, Disney, because I think that they.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm gonna say next. Is that? Well, I'll give you an example of what I mean. In the scene in which Bobby Drake goes home in X-Men, I think
X-Men 2. Yep.
And he goes to this relatively nice house. His parents seem to be relatively well-to-do. They don't seem like the kind of people who are like bad people. Yeah. Right. But they clearly have a fear, a bias, a prejudice, insert thing here, against people that are not like them. So
Yeah.
in this case, mutants, right? And I think for me, the magic of the X-Men is that I know people, just because people like this today, I know people like that who may not inherently be bad people.
Yeah.
Right. But they have a fear, a prejudice, bias, whatever against people that don't look or act, whether it be homosexual stuff or race stuff, whatever it is. They have a bias against people who don't perform and act and live like them. And so when I saw that, I was like, damn, like this is, of course, it's superhero-fied. It's very like, it's Hollywood-ified, but it is also very real that like when I go to my friends' houses, who's living in Utah or whatever the case is, like they probably have never been around a black dude before, right. So they probably don't really know what to expect or how to interact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that Disney owned Marvel's, I don't want to say plight, but their desire to make everything all inclusive at once is admirable, but it will miss the point of the core of what the X-Men are about. And if you're going to have if you're going to, I mean, you almost can't at this point not include Magneto because you've already included Wanda and Pietrov. So I don't know how you're going to just not, you know what I mean? And if you try to, and I'm not going to use the word woke because I don't think that's necessarily what it is, but I think if you try to, portray Magneto in a way that is not nuanced, that is not layered, that is not pointing out the fact that this man is doing what he's doing because of the history with humans that he had, right? So it's not just a matter of like, because for example, they heard a bad habit of like making villains just be looking like villains. Like so Thanos is just out here. Typically, Thanos' like motivation with death and just made him just a bad dude who wants to fuck around and like murder half the galaxy. Like that's not Thanos' drive in the comics. So it's not. I mean, he is crazy. He is,
but there's
mad.
There's a method in the reasoning. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. And so if you were to just and they kind of sort of got Wanda's right with WandaVision, like the whole like the grief and the House of M line, or the grief made her do this thing. That's like closer to accurate. But you wouldn't be able to put Magneto in a story where he's doing what Magneto would normally do as a character and not point out the fact that like this man is a Holocaust survivor. Yep. This man is this man is he's not fucking with humans for fun. He's literally doing this because he wants to be left 9 times out of 10 wants to be just left the fuck alone. And humans do not leave cannot leave mutants alone. and so he does what he does retaliation. Again, 9 times out of 10. Sometimes he goes on the offensive, but most times it's truly them fucking with mutants and then him retaliating against. There's a comic I read too long ago, X-Men comic where, and I forget what the name of the story was, but it was this story where these on the news these like rednecks had, the panels written out right. You hear over the news of this girl gone missing, this mutant girl gone missing, and it kind of pans out some, and it's this red truck. Yeah. And you see like the truck's empty, and it pans a little more, and so the truck's like sitting sideways, and it straightens off the panel, and it's Magneto like holding the truck up in the air over this like cornfield, and these rednecks who he found, and he's saying that he's asking, he goes, what happened to the girl? Basically asking like, what did you guys do with the girl, with that mutant girl? And the rednecks are like, saying some dumb shit like, oh, we don't fuck with beauty kind or some bullshit, that kind of bullshit. Right. And Magneto starts to like, and the part that's rough is that Marvel can't show this next bit because of their own limits, but he starts to like choke one of the niggas with like the barbed wire from like a barbed wire fence. Right. He starts to like slowly choke him to death, and he's like, no, he's basically going on to talk about how in the long run, if humans would just leave mutants alone, he wouldn't be out here doing this. He would truly like live separately alone somewhere else in peace if human beings weren't the way that human beings are, right, to them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he drops the truck on another dude and kills him. And it kind of monologues. But I guess the hard part is that, like, you couldn't have Magneto do that in a movie with the way that Marvel has been portraying villains like recently, because they make the villains too one-note, too one-dimensional. And with what they tried with Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I won't get too far into that, yeah. Which was to write some inclusive story about, like the overcoming of a black man in America and becoming Captain America and blah, blah, blah. I think that was on the right direction.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to see that version of Magneto, though, where he's like close to Magneto because he's like, yeah, I mean, we're out here struggling every day, you guys, but like we're gonna make it through. Like that's not Magneto's attitude,
right?
So it's they're fucking with us. We're gonna go kill them. It's, you know what I mean? And I think I'm nervous about the MCU's version of X-Men because I think that, in short, I think that like having a villain that's purely okay with genocide, but the genocide he's okay with is because people have been actively trying to kill genocide his people.
Yeah,
is too deep a nuanced point for where Marvel is currently at. Makes any sense?
Marvel Disney to me has rarely demonstrated that they know how to tell stories with nuanced villains. I mean, very, very rarely have they ever demonstrated that to me. Whenever they stumble across like a really complex problem, they always shy away from it. They did it with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, they stumbled across something that was very interesting to me. Half the people disappear, so the resources allocated to the remaining people. The people come back, and then all those resources are taken away again. Well, what do you do with the people you took the resources from? And that was a very interesting topic that they shied away from. And they've done that. They've done that multiple times throughout the MCU because they don't know how to handle nuanced problems. They want everything to be black and white. And simply put, the X-Men, the mutants, they can't be that. They cannot be that. They cannot be black and white. And Magneto is going to be difficult for several reasons. And I want to get into these reasons why I think Magneto would be. It's going to be a difficult villain to do. First of all. One reason is simply enough. I'll start with the easy one. I think that Magneto has been portrayed magnificently, not once, but twice. I think they struck gold twice, which is fucking rare in Hollywood. And,
it's true. It's true.
And another issue I have here is I always understand the comparisons between like Malcolm X and Magneto and Martin Luther King to Professor X. However, historically speaking, and this is, coming from me, like someone who, coming from a black nerd, like that unfortunately that had nothing to do with the creation of these characters. And I want to talk about like, where that comes from and then how that ties into like this version of Magneto that I think the MCU is going to go with here. You see, like when the X-Men were created by Jack and Stan, I call them Stack.
Stack.
That's their fusion name. But when the X-Men were created by Stan and Jack, the reason why Stan came up with the idea for mutants is because he says, I got tired of coming up with origin stories. Peter got spit by the Spider, Hulk, gamma radiation, all these other Fantastic Four, cosmic waves. And, he got tired of coming up with like these intricate ways that started to become a little redundant. And so he said, you know what, I'll just have these people are different because they were born different. Yeah. And it's also, I'm not saying that Stan got the idea from anywhere, but Doom Patrol actually came out earlier. And Doom Patrol has a very similar premise to that of the X-Men. It's just one of them took off to the stratosphere and
Beast Boy. That's what you meant, right? Beast Boy going to the Teen Titans. I'm kidding. No.
Well, I meant like one of the teams, in comparison to the other. But poor. But It wasn't until Chris Claremont came along in the 70s. Chris Claremont is my favorite X-Men writer. And, he came along. I mean, if you think about, I guarantee you think about like 90% of your favorite X-Men stories, they were written by Chris. He's phenomenal. I mean, anything from like the Dark Phoenix saga to God Loves, Man Kills to Days of Future Past. I mean, just so many iconic X-Men stories that defined a generation of readers. He wrote those, and he's the one.
That's crazy.
Yeah. First of all, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe that when he took over X-Men, I think that's when they stopped calling them the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and just the Brotherhood of Mutants or just the Brotherhood. This is also when Chris Claremont gave Magneto the origin of him being a Holocaust survivor. Yeah. Chris Claremont is the one who started to interject, things that were happening during the civil rights era into to make them more palatable and more relatable to a lot of the readers. It was Chris. So while he didn't create the X-Men and he wouldn't write the X-Men, until years later, he's the one who kind of made the defining version of the X-Men.
Worked on me.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
It works on everybody. I mean, I think that Chris is the best X-Men writer ever. I don't think it's even close, to be honest. But why or how does that kind of rope things back into Magneto? So Magneto, I never liked the comparison to him to Malcolm X in particular, simply because if you look at Magneto as a whole, to compare the two, I think is way too radical. I think that you are radicalizing Malcolm X, way more so than he was. And I also think that you're kind of losing a bit of essence from Malcolm X in the sense that you would be implying that Malcolm X would be completely fine with mass genocide. And a lot of white people are already afraid of Malcolm X, even though the man is gone and dead. But they're afraid of his ideologies because they think that they're so out there radicalized. But I mean,
I think. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say he's radical in the sense of like 1960s white America, but
and I think that also the part of the fear and I guess when I used the two comparisons of the two, I mostly spoke from a place that again, not trying to get too far into history or like heavy things, but the Nation of Islam at the time had a heavy backing of like the Black Panther Party, like the founding of the Black Panther Party, which, while equally radical, was a retaliatory force to the black abuse of the time. You know what I'm saying? So and I don't think that he would be Malcolm X. Let's say this. Yeah. I know for a fact Malcolm X would not be cool with this like needlessly murdering white people. Like, that is not at all not at all his thing. I think that he was just saying to meet force with force. Which is kind of how I see Magneto. I know that Magneto not half the storylines is cool with just genocide, but the other half of them, he is very much like
trying to be alone.
In the movies, he's very much just like, I want to be left alone. I will meet your force with equal or more force, but I won't just be left alone. Right. And if that's the case, great. And,
even with the first movie, as much as I love the first movie, you got to remember the whole plot was that Magneto wanted to speed up the process and eliminate humankind by turning them
trying to mutate them.
By turning them on into mutants, which in turn would kill them because the process didn't work properly.
Oh, he didn't know that. He was just trying to turn them into mutants, make everyone equal, right? Equalize everyone.
Imagine if Malcolm X had this device that turned white people black. That would be hilarious.
Black people.
Oh, J. Edgar Hoover, come here, please.
Come here, yeah. Sit in this chair real quick. Spin you around real fast. He turns in the mush. No, but I think that like, I fully agree that Magneto is not the. I'll say this too about one last thing about X-Men. Not last, but I guess, but another thing is that part of the reason why X-Men comics work as a group, for me as a group, is that the characters are supposed to represent, for me anyway, represent like a true how do I say this? I think it's like a perfect representation of regular people in a lot of ways, meaning that these characters aren't really supposed to be likable. like Wolverine is not supposed to be like, if you like him, you like him, right? But if you were to deal with a nigga like Wolverine every day
in real life, he'd be
you would hate this man.
Yeah.
100%. You know what I'm saying? He's not a likable person. No. Magneto's not a likable person. Most of the X-Men are not really. Magic is not a likable person. You know what I mean?
Colossus is likable though. We like Colossus.
Colossus is fine. Yeah. You know, I mean, Nightcrawler is fine. Yeah. Most times
he might get a little preachy with you, but he's fine. You know,
he's fine. Mystique is not really a likable person, but not because she's evil, just because she's kind of just like not aloof, but she's sort of like an enigma in a lot of ways. She
is. You never know what team she's really playing for sometimes.
Yeah. Same. I mean, so a lot of the X-Men, which is where with Marvel, what scares me is that Rocket Raccoon in the comics is not a likable person. Homeboy is not.
No, and I think to the movie's credits, like they do try to lean into that sometimes.
I think they did fine. Guardians of the Galaxy movies are some of the best iterations of Marvel movies that exist especially in the current run, especially. So that's fine. I'm just saying that I think they do take a lot of time, it seems, in trying to make characters that aren't necessarily the most likable in comics be relatable and likable. Because Thor, if you're being 1,000%, Thor in the comics is not a likable dude. Not because he's bad, he just is a god. He moves talks you know what I'm saying? Presents himself So it's you'd be more willing to pay fealty to him than you would be to hang out at a bar, because he's not going to go to a bar. You know what I'm
saying? I mean, and one of the best runs, hey, all you homies out there, all you comic book readers, you guys claim to love Jason Aaron's Thor run so much. I mean, there's instances of there when people are literally praying to Thor as a deity, and he approaches them as such. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I do see what you're saying here, and I think that you're stumbling onto something great here about how Disney would potentially portray the X-Men. The issue here is this, right? Let me start here with this, Taim. Do you think that they will keep Magneto a Holocaust survivor, or do you think that maybe they'll go different approaches in making him black?
Do I think that a Walt Disney company will even mention Judaism at all?
Bro, I think they're gonna be way too on the nose with these Malcolm X comparisons. I think they're gonna make him black, and I think they're gonna make him a survivor, something horrendous that happens during the civil rights era. That's what I think that they will do. I think that because when it comes to nuance, so many times Disney is just ignorant to that word.
Yeah. Okay. Question. Yeah. Do you find that making Kang the Conqueror black was a problem?
That had no impact on this character whatsoever. No, I had no problem with that.
Okay, cool. No, me either. I feel the same way. Yeah. So I feel like as long as, for me, it would be weird it would be jarring to see Magneto as Black Man. And I wouldn't I don't think some civil rights movement backstory personally. Mm-hmm. But I think as long as they then took that and made his character the same as the comic books, I could get past the first two things. As long as his character was the same
that's a big if. I do not have faith that they can do that.
Yeah, and that I agree with. I don't see them doing that.
Now, if they could pull it off, I think that'd be really fun. I mean, fun in the best way possible, But
I don't think Disney. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, but I also wonder, if you're a Jewish person, how would you feel about Magneto being changed? And by the way, none of this is confirmed. This is all just speculation right now.
Yeah, sure.
I wonder, like, if you're a Jewish person, how would you feel about? Because I mean, I'm not Jewish, obviously, but I would assume that Magneto would probably mean something to a lot of the Jewish nerds out there.
I think. Okay, so I don't think Disney would make him black or civil rightsy, only because I think that they know that that's too close to troubled waters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that, like, because the problem with Winter Soldier wasn't that they didn't touch on black stuff at all, is that they didn't go far enough. Right. It's that they mentioned this one black soldier that happened to be some, happens to have some.
Oh, you talking about the TV show Falcon and yeah.
I mean, the Captain Falcon, Falcon and Winter Soldier. The problem wasn't that they didn't.
Right. You're right. I agree with you.
The problem was that they didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Elijah Bradley, I mean, they told his whole story perfectly. And then Sam was like, damn, that's crazy. I'm going to go be Captain America. And then they dropped it. That's another one of those instances where they bring up something real and something complex, and they're too afraid to tackle it.
Yeah. And so I think, though, that I given the current state of America as it stands, with George Floyd happened a couple years ago, with we're still trying to defund the police, with all the extra shit going on, right?
Yeah.
I think it is too close to some shit that would get them canceled to have this nigga be a black, like, civil rights activist that got fucked up in the 70s and then is now, like, only because the optics of it now would look like he's coming for white people and not humans.
That's what I'm saying? That's a great point. That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be too easy to be like, wow, he's fucked up in the 70s and he's coming for the whites now.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but to a lot of people, that is the enemy, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is I think they still want, I think the problem with Magneto is you still have to make him, the only way that he's going to work is if he's scary, is if he's intimidating, is if he's all those things, and he's relatable.
Yeah.
Right? To some degree, you can't look at Magneto's plight and not be like, I get it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the common denominator with Magneto, is that everybody comes to the conclusion that I understand why you do what you do. I may not agree with it, but I understand.
Yeah, I get it.
That's the mark of a good villain. I mean, it was that way with Killmonger. I don't agree with what you're doing, but I understand.
I fully get it.
Even Thanos. Totally even Thanos. I don't agree with what you're doing. I understand.
The problem with Thanos is he was just wrong. Like, I don't get far into this, but if you have the power, if you have all the stones, you have the power to change anything you want. The solution doesn't have to then be to murder everything and not just to double the resources, bro.
Well, no, because, like, I was talking to the homie Caleb about this, and we actually agreed. Like, the problem isn't the resource; it's the greed. So even if you double the resources, you would still end up with the same problem just a few years later. I mean,
you could have just changed the people at the core. He had the stones. He could just be like, people are no longer greedy.
Well, that's a boring ass comic book.
That's super boring. But that's the thing, though.
Yeah,
it already made it more boring by taking out the fact that his backstory is that he's in love with death.
Well, yeah,
you've negated that chunk of what makes him interesting.
I think besides Lady Death not being in there, I think other than that, they kept the most important components, because, like, most surface level, people who claim to be comic readers, right? They read, like, Infinity Gauntlet real quick, and they just think that he did everything because of Lady Death. But we know that Thanos actually did that because of his infatuation with Lady Death, because they have a lot in common, and they also know that Thanos. He thinks that there is too much greed, that there's not enough people. I mean, there's too many people, not enough resources. I mean, Thanos is willing to throw his own name in a hat, to be killed off in order to retain the resources on Titan.
It's true.
Yeah, but
it's true. I just So from that point of view, I can concede that, like, I think that the killing off half of the people is, a solution, but when you
not
have
saying that it's great,
all the power in the universe to do anything you want, I think you could workshop a little bit more.
But see, that's the thing, though. Like, when it comes down to it, though, every villain has that problem. That's what makes them a villain. If they had good solutions, they wouldn't be a villain. But you understand why they're doing what they're doing. You don't agree.
I think that's what I was gonna say. I think that's why I fuck with Magneto as he's probably my favorite villain, probably.
Yeah.
If not him, then Doom.
I was gonna say Doom was up there too.
But because not only does he do what he does to protect his people, he also actually fully takes care of them. Now, Doom and Latveria is
the people in Latveria are actually mostly really happy because Doom.
They love him.
They love him. Yeah.
It's a complex situation as far as like the government goes there, but but people are happy. They're taken care of.
It's like communism at its best. I don't know what to describe Latveria as. You know.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. I think the thing with Magneto and Doom and all the guys in Illuminati, I guess I should also include any villains. Is that Namor included? Is that they are thinkers. Like those guys are thinkers first, right, and then actors second. You know, whereas Thanos in the movie was kind of just like, well, you know what we're gonna do? I've been around the way, and I feel like people suck. So I'm just gonna delete half them niggas and then call it a day. Like, where's the play? What kind of shit is this? So, but anyway, back to the whole thing about X-Men and Marvel. I think that, like, again, having someone who will do horrific things to protect his people, who is scary and intimidating, but also is relatable, is a challenge that I've not yet seen Marvel surmount, like overcome. You know, it's just their characters are either like Thanos, where they're like not relatable. Okay, no one can relate. I can't relate to Thanos. I can see where he was at with his thought, but I can't be like I get it. You know what I mean? Killmonger, I understand where he, like, as a black man, I get why he's that way, because again, like, I'm also like, so you guys were, because it's questions that we would have in the audience. We'd be like, hey, so y'all were just over here in Africa fucking around in the 70s when niggas was out here getting murdered by police, like murdered by the Klan.
T'Challa.
What's going on? Exactly.
T'Challa.
People getting
T'Challa was like, yes.
Yes, we were. You were just, people get sold into slavery. Y'all just chilling behind this forest field. Yes, we were.
Yep.
Like,
any other questions? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck? So I think that's, and so when Killmonger coming up and being like, that was fucking stupid. Like, I get it. I'm there with him. Like, he's not wrong. So, which I think made, and I was gonna say this too. I think that, like, Marvel also has a bad habit of, and not just Marvel, but Disney has a bad habit of giving people that don't deserve arcs that, like, you know, like the what do they call them, the character arcs that end in, like, redemption arcs. They have a bad problem with giving characters redemption arcs that don't deserve them.
Absolutely, because the problem with that is it waters, like, they take Magneto's plot, apply it to 70% of their villains, and water it down. And so now when we get Magneto, his actual plot, who they fucking stole and just copied and pasted everywhere, it won't be nearly as impactful. They did it with Namor. He was oppressed, and now he's angry because he's overcoming his old masters or whatever. They did it with Killmonger. I mean, they did it a little bit even with Vulture. I mean, you go down the MCU villain list, so many of them have that same angle where I'm a villain because I was oppressed. And I'm like, that starts with Magneto. And
so, like, victim, like, shit, basically. Everyone's a victim now, so we're all just villains? Like, is that how that works out?
That's what it seems like.
Kind of, yeah. Like,
but I mean,
Bucky was like, yeah, I was brainwashed, and so I'm in this movie anyway. I'm a villain in this movie, you know. Because it's true. Magneto did kind of start. Magneto was Magneto was like the only one with that story. That was his.
That was his story.
It was his story, you know, and then they kind of applied it to a bunch of people, and not well enough to, because, like, Killmonger, I mean, the best thing he did at the end of that movie was choose to die. Like, he was like, they're trying to give him a redemption arc, and he's like, hey, you know, I can still save you, and he was like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather die.
I'm out of here.
And I was like, oh, that's different. That's new. That's different. That's new. That's, like, unique to Killmonger, because he's like, I'd rather just pass away than stand trial for this bullshit. You know, like, because every other villain, I guess, and Thanos was going that way, but then Thor was like, no, absolutely not, man. Like, you're gonna catch this axe. And then Namor, who assaulted a whole kingdom of people,
yeah,
murdered countless thousands, was like, I guess I can be friends with you guys, and we can. One day they'll need us, and they'll come to us and talk. And then nigga, go to trial. What the fuck are you talking about? You just murdered like half a nation full of people. You don't take your ass to prison,
right?
Like redemption arc. Why? For who? This man?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And,
at least in the old X-Men movies, Magneto actually went to jail. I'm like, he didn't stay there because they broke him out, but like he did. He was
a couple times.
A couple times. He was like, yeah, I've done some bullshit. Mm-hmm. Sure, I did some bullshit in defense, but I still did some bullshit. I'm going to prison.
Yep.
Now, could he stop the cops from taking him to prison? Yes. Could Magneto stop police officers from detaining him? Absolutely. But if he's in prison, that means he didn't. That means he chose to go to prison.
I guess in their defense, they did like trank him and throw him in like a plastic prison.
They did do that. Yeah. They did do that. But the point I'm making is that like he could have just flew away at any point. Like the fact that he's even still there to get tranked.
They don't know the extent of his powers because like how far back can he reach to get metal? You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, I guess he reached into them. Because
he did, yeah.
Just reached into their bodies and pulled the fucking metal out of there. But no, I guess I'm trying to say I think that like the couple times I went to prison, they still showed this man taking accountability for some shit that he did, right? Yeah. Whereas Namor literally murdered the entire nation and then was like, I'm gonna just wait for them to come to me and talk to me about it. You know, they'll need me one day. And I was like, no, that's not how redemption. That's not how this works. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Killmonger chose to die, which is fine. Thanos got killed as he should have, but he should have been got killed. But like he like I don't know. It just seems like these villains they seem to be taking Magneto's storyline and not getting. They're not pulling off enough of the heart out of it, not putting enough heart into it, I guess is to say. They're not showing the accountability that Magneto would show because Magneto's not a heartless dude. The part of the reason that makes him relatable is that he actually is a father, not like in the Thanos way, but they actually as we find out later, actually adopted Wanda. That's not her.
Yeah, well, we don't need to talk about that because that's bullshit. Like most of the fan base agrees, Wanda and Pietro, they're your children, Magneto. You know, like that was, but not to veer us all.
But being a dad and being a leader of a nation and all that shit, like he does love his kids. Like he does, he's not like a Thanos where he's like, "Hey, daughter," and then he starts off a cliff. Like it's not that's something that Magneto would never do.
I love you so much, I will throw you off this goddamn cliff.
I will murder your ass for a rock. I will do it. I love you so much. Oh my God, so much love. So that's what I'm saying. I think that like all of the bits that make Magneto or to make that storyline of the victimized man that turns into a villain is missing in current Marvel, and I think the danger would be to see it in Magneto now would kind of feel like a rerun. If they don't do it right, it feel like a rerun, you know?
Yeah, that's
like,
kind of...
No, go, sorry.
No, I think that's kind of where I'm at with this too. And you know, also, I was thinking about this too, because like, I feel that like the current people who write for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't think that they have the wherewithal to write any of the mutants as particularly bad, but there are bad mutants, we know. You know?
Oh yes.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm like, I hate to break it to you guys, but like I just have this sinking feeling that they would try to portray all of the mutants as being nothing but victims. I think that sends a kind of a nasty message. And then I'm like, well, who's the bad guy in this fucking mutant movie? You know?
Yeah. I think that the closest thing, and I hate to say this because it's true, but I think the closest thing we've gotten so far in a Marvel movie to a bad mutant is in Deadpool 2. Like when Juggernaut just gets out of that fucking truck, walks casually over to Deadpool and just rips his ass in half and keeps it moving.
But also though was I mean, is he technically a mutant in those movies?
Juggernaut?
We know that in the comic books. We know that in comics he's not.
No, he's just a dude with the helmet.
The Crimson Gem of Cyttorak.
Magic. It's magic. He has magic, I guess, but that's the Cyttorak's magic is what he uses. Yeah. But like I guess so. I guess he's a mutant. He's like the size of a fucking building. So I guess he's a mutant.
I mean, because he was not born, with a mutant genome. Like he's just born a normal dude. He found, yeah.
Homeboy punched. Well, here's why I say in the movies he seems like a mutant, because in that movie they're transporting him.
In X3, he's definitely a mutant in that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he punched the ground and broke the fucking truck, and Deadpool too. So, and I don't think they're gonna, unless he's moving, like himself moving, can do that. So
I think he's still incredibly strong. I think he can still pull that off.
Yeah, punch through the bottom of the truck and break the whole truck and the ground.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, sure. But I think that's the closest version of like comic book true. I mean, Cable was pretty close, I think. Yeah. But as far as like the MCU goes, I don't think that I don't have faith in them that they would do a good job of. I guess this next Deadpool 3 will be technically in the Marvel
Cinematic Universe. Yeah.
So as long as, if this is the first iteration of a mutant movie we're gonna get, I'm okay with it. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I know Hugh Jackman's in it as Wolverine, so that's a plus. I kind of have faith in Ryan Reynolds to do a good job, because he's kind of portrayed the mutants in a honorable way. He's kind of shown them to be what they are. I think Domino's a good example of that. Like I mean, how it's kind of hard to. I was trying to think of myself, like, how would I write in a movie scene like this girl is really lucky? you know what I mean?
Did a great job of that though.
But he did. It was fantastic. Like he did a great job of it. So,
I love that.
So I think that he does a good job. So that's the first iteration of Marvel that we get, and they build off of that instance. They keep the same people and they kind of move from there into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it'll be a great jumping off point, because that movie is already kind of gritty from the jump, or will be, I imagine, kind of gritty from the jump. So hopefully we keep that same energy, So
we now all know, thankfully, Victoria Alonso is gone from Disney and Marvel.
Bro, I sent you that thing on Instagram. I was like, hey man, she's gonna love this.
Yeah. and everyone should rejoice. The problem here is that the people who she hired on are still there. And so like you may have cut out like one of the main tumors, but there's still other little things going on that you need to get taken care of.
Do you know who I have more concern about than the X-Men? Because I think the X-Men will have to do good, because they are a main group. They're a staple of cinema at this point as far as superheroes go. I'm more concerned about Blade, because
Blade has had so many issues already.
That's that. And I don't know that I trust them to tell the story of basically an anti-hero, of a black, not very pleasant anti-hero. Because Blade, in any iteration of Blade that you ever have seen, Homeboy is not likable. He is not a very pleasant person to be around.
He's not. Yeah, I mean, he
ain't nice.
That's why Wesley was so good, because Wesley became unlikable on set. That's why he was so good at it. I'm being real,
man. True.
You know what I mean?
That's very true. But, I think Mahershala Ali is a great pick. I can't think of. At the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else better to do it than Mahershala Ali. But like,
I'd have done it for half the price, but it's cool.
Huh?
I'd have done it for half the price, but that's fine.
Oh, yeah, I can see you being a Blade. Yeah, really super duper buff.
I can do this.
Yes. Muscle just rips through the shirt. Yeah, I see it. No, honestly, but like the whole thing where there's that, but there's also, it's like, if they try to put some bullshit in this movie where these aren't vampires, or like, this is like Blade is a his only job is hunting vampires.
That's it.
That's his shit.
He ain't got nothing else. Yeah.
If they try to PG-ify a fucking vampire movie, I'm going to be upset.
So
it's gonna be 2001 Blade, but what I don't want to see is a vampire movie with no blood. I'm going to be upset.
The way they probably skirt by that is to either do the one of two cliches. They either do the cliche where they turn to dust when they're stabbed, or they do the cliche where and movies have done this for years to get around the R rating and to get a PG-13 rating. They're turning the blood from red to green or blue.
Ew. The fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Believe it or not,
not.
that helps you escape a R rating. And from what I
Bruh.
understand, this movie's gonna be rated PG-13, not R.
Stop. Don't tell me that. I'm about to cry right now, bro. I'm about to cry. Fuck. Why? For what reason?
Because Marvel doesn't want too many R-rated movies. As I think as of now, Deadpool 3 will be the only R-rated movie in the MCU.
So I guess they don't want adults to enjoy. Bro, kids should not go see a Blade movie.
Think about it like this.
That is not, bro. That has never been. Okay, how do I even? Okay, so Blade comic books. Anyone can read them. You buy them, you read them. However old you are, if you can read them shits. However, preteens traditionally ain't never been Blade's demographic.
No.
like
that's like saying Spawn is for little kids. You should know. No.
Hell no. Bro, he literally gets his powers from hell. Spawn is not for kids. Like, what more did I say? Like, I don't. It's a situation where, again, Disney Marvel will try to make something that is not supposed to be for everyone.
Yeah.
For everyone. And I wish I could tell someone in the room, like, it's totally fine to just make a movie for a demographic. Like, it's cool. Like, black people like Blade because he's like one of damn near five, just 5 superheroes in all of fucking Marvel, right?
Right.
We can get in a Storm movie. We sure as fucking get in a Blue Marvel movie. We can hang this shit clear the fuck up. Like, you know.
Well, there's been rumors that there's been a rumor that he might show up in like the Marvels. I hope not. I
wouldn't.
I think he deserves better than that because there's not enough room for him in that movie anyway, and that movie looks like dog shit. I don't need to.
I liked the trailer. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm a sucker for a trailer though, but
hey, you know what?
I like that they're not. Here's what I liked about it. Right, I liked that they took the first Carol Danvers Marvel movie mad serious, and people didn't like that shit, and so they're making this next movie just a goofy.
You think they took it
off.
serious? I thought that first Captain Marvel movie was also dog shit. Because
no, I'm saying that people's complaints about it. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, you talking about like the tone of the movie, but
yeah, I'm saying the people's complaints about it was that Carol took herself too seriously. She was like, you know, I'm that boss bad bitch the whole movie, and people don't like that.
That's one of many complaints about it though. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So I like that they're just making this next one like, you know what, we're gonna just have fun with this shit. Which honestly.
I'm so like listen. If Marvel just wants to give me another comedy movie with some superhero shit, you know, spiced in there, I'm good. I don't need any more. Like, listen, their comedy won't be any different from Thor 4. Won't be any different from any of their other, you know, recent Marvel products. It'll be the same tired ass comedy. So I don't care to see it.
The premise looks interesting though, at least. So
my gosh, it's Freaky Friday. Every time you use your powers, you get in my
body. It's just changing spots.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're just changing spots, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Come on, you be a hater.
I know. I'm gonna hate. And you know what? I'm gonna hate, and then I'm gonna call you up when this movie fucking bombs. Because they pushed it back for like what I think this is the 5th time this movie's been delayed, and it's bombed with the test audiences.
I'm allowed to like bad movies, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm allowed to like a movie that's trash. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? I watched The Grinch. I know what the deal is.
Hey, bro. I have no problem with people liking bad movies. I like bad movies. I just need people to acknowledge that the movie is bad.
Oh, I ain't even seen it yet, but I'm saying it looks interesting. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm getting at it. It looks like the premise. It's some shit that Marvel hasn't done yet, and that's you know, I think that my issue with Captain Marvel is only that like
there's no Marvel. They fucked him over.
Yeah, there's
Nick Fury how he lost his eye. They took a really serious thing from Winter Soldier and shat all over it. Yep.
Yeah.
How about the Skrull? How about the Skrulls are actually they're misunderstood, and they're not actually villains. How about the fact that Yon Rog, the villain played by the legendary Jude Law, was fucking one-shotted and had nothing to do in that movie? How about the fact that Carol Danvers tries to portray herself as somebody who overcomes hardship, but all she does is fucking stand up at the end of the movie and one-shot everything? How about the fact that that's not relatable at all, and really not a good example for young women who, the whole premise of the movie was that I just needed to realize that I've been fucking perfect all along. And as soon as she realized that, she girl balls her way to the end. That
I have to keep the same energy, right? I just a minute ago said that it's cool for Marvel to make, Marvel's understand it's okay to make a movie for a demographic. Mm-hmm. That movie was for a demographic, and that demographic didn't include me. So
the problem is that like the demo it was made for, I think it gives a terrible fucking message. Wonder Woman did a much better job of delivering a strong female superhero who is relatable and understandable and palatable. Yeah,
I don't think. Okay, here's my pushback on that. Right, I don't think that Marvel has tried to actually have a message in a movie since Inside Out, bro. What you mean? Like, I don't think that since
I disagree
Toy
with
Story.
that.
I don't think. No, I think that like they have included messages.
Yeah.
I don't, however, think that the intent of a Marvel movie has been to deliver a message.
But
in
they
years.
have included messages in their movies. I'm saying that they have failed with Captain Marvel in their attempt to deliver a message.
I'm just saying. I think that like
you won't get anything different from me with Captain Marvel.
I'm not trying to get. I'm not trying to get done. I'm just saying like in general, for me, it's hard to make a plot of a 2-hour movie with no messages in it, right? I'm just saying that the messages that they put into it,
the failure of said message.
But see, I can't say they failed. I can't say that they failed or passed because the message wasn't for me. That's like me saying that Beyonce's Lemonade message failed because I'm a woman. She's been talking to me. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I dislike that viewpoint so much because it's like saying because it may not be quote unquote for me that I can't interpret. I can have my own interpretation of said thing. I listened to the Lemonade, and I know that she was shitting on me. I think she did a great job. I think Beyonce did a great job with that album.
Yeah. Do I like the songs? Yeah. Can I? But what's the message for me?
Yeah. There's a difference between the message being for me and can I relate to said message. The difference is that I understand what the message is supposed to be. Whether or not it relates to me is irrelevant. I understand what the message is supposed to be.
I see. Okay, so I guess from my point of view, I think if the message, I usually go from the stance like if the message ain't for me, I don't really care if I understand it. It ain't for me. But I do like the whole thing where like I don't listen to like those like Republican. Again, if there are homies out there, the Republican. Right. Hey, I fucks with y'all. But I'm saying some of the commentators on the internet, bro, I can't. Like Ben Shapiro and them niggas, I can't fucks with them, and because the messages ain't for me. Do I understand where they're at? Sometimes no, but I don't have to because they talking to me. You know what I'm saying?
But sometimes it is, even with shit like that, it's good to understand what the fuck other people are thinking and how they come to these conclusions.
That's fair. That's 1,000%. You're right. You're right. 1,000% fair. So I would say that to your point, and I'm conceding this to you, I do think that like it's important to see how a message comes across because that's important. I think like you can see how like you can obviously see how like it's received from women, right? Yeah. It's pretty easy. So I guess from your point of view, I do think I haven't met very many ladies who liked the movie, but then I don't know very many ladies who enjoyed Marvel in the first place. So that could be a thing which
is bizarre.
I don't know.
But yeah,
it's bizarre. But I do think in this new movie coming out, however, I like the premise more than I like the premise of America Sanchez, or her name was being Doctor Strange. Because that made zero sense. It just didn't make no sense. So I'm aware that Marvel puts shit into movies that they think will work, even if it just ain't that. So I kind of have to lean on what the premise is, and the premise seems like 3 ladies who can swap bodies when they use their abilities, and that's the basic premise we're gonna go with. And like, I'll watch that. I ain't gonna pay for it. I'll bootleg it for free. But
and see, that's the sad irony of this, Taim. You are mildly interested and you will not pay for it. I already hate this movie, and I'm gonna go pay for it because I have to talk
look
about
at you.
it. Yeah, I know. I am my own worst enemy here.
Truly, I'm only paying for shit that I actually want to, like, I like to see, bro. I'm not gonna go pay for that shit.
That's the curse of this podcast. It's a gift and a curse.
It's a gift and a curse, bro. It's a gift and a curse. You have to go see it. You have to go see it.
I wanted to ask you one more thing, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Bet.
And that is going back to the X-Men here, really quick.
Yeah.
Tell me if you had to, if you could choose 5 to 7 members, who is going to be on your roster?
You're going to give me a whole fucking football team. Oh, let me see. No.
It's typically
32 members. Let me see. Okay, my roster. Is this like a, what we're doing? What's the premise here? Give me a.
Okay. We'll say that the premise is, shit, I don't know.
Anything.
Yeah, anything, yeah. But you get to choose which 5 to 7
X-Men. I'm the team leader, and Xavier's like, all right, boys.
I'm saying like for the upcoming movie, because I don't know what the movie's going to be about. Yeah.
Oh, the movie.
Like, which ones do you want to see in the movie?
Okay, Wolverine. That's easy.
All right.
Do I want to see Cyclops? I guess we have to. I don't really care. He ain't my favorite, but I guess we have to. But see, man, here's the hard part. Mm-hmm. You know what? I take it back. I'll make it easy for you. Okay. X-Force. The X-Force.
Oh, so you want to see X-Force. Okay.
Yeah, because I could do without another Jean Grey, Wolverine, Cyclops love triangle. I could do without seeing Jean Grey in general at all. Yep. I could do.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
I mean, Domino, Deadpool are already in, or technically already in Deadpool movies, so they could already be in the MCU in this next Deadpool movie. So that's already 2 members off the roster.
In, Archangel,
Wolfsbane. Nightwolf was the guy's name?
Yeah.
Night.
Yeah, he was Thunderbird's brother. Not Nightwolf.
Not Nightwolf. That was the guy from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. It'd be weird if he showed up.
Warpath.
Warpath. Yeah.
What's the guy's name? X.
Elixir, the healer.
Elixir. There's another dude who. What's that nigga's name? I think his name is just X or some shit like that. He has guns. He shoots guns.
Phantom X.
Yeah. Phantom X.
Yeah, he's cool as hell.
There's a werewolf girl.
Yeah, Wolfsbane. Rain Sinclair.
Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I can just pick them, I just would say because that's not. Some of those have been in the movie. I think Warpath's been in the movie already with Magic.
Warpath was in the movie Days of Future Past. He was in that opening scene.
Wasn't there also a New Mutants movie that came out with Magic in them? Or was it a show? I can't remember.
No, it was a TV show. I mean, it was a movie. We don't have to talk about that.
Because I would include Magic. I like Magic a lot. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So Magic. So if I can't say the X-Force, if that's not the answer, then I would say my own favorites. I would say like Magic, Prodigy. What's the nigga's name? He's on Prodigy's team. He has Rust. He has like Rust powers. He can touch organic shit and turn it into Rust. His name. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Huh?
I forget his name.
But you know what I'm talking about? Him. Wolverine. Gotta have one. Got a team leader. Is it 4? Yeah. Who else is cool in the X-Men that I want on a team with me? Not Jubilee. That's for damn sure.
It's not a team with you. It's like for the movie, like for the X-Men movie coming out. Yeah.
Then just the X-Force. I don't know. Honestly, like, because I know they'd want to probably do another Origins shit, and I just do not want to see another Origins movie.
Yeah, I think they should stay away from that too.
Don't want to see it. Gambit.
Yeah,
I want Gambit in the movie.
That's yeah. I think my lineup, if I get 7, goes Cyclops, Emma Frost, Colossus, Kitty, Storm, Rogue, Gambit. I think that's my 7. Wolverine is strong. Okay. Wolverine is strong enough so that he can have his own movie, and then if you want to put him in the sequel, you can. But I don't think that he necessarily needs to be there. I think that there's other X-Men characters who haven't quite had enough screen time to really shine.
You wouldn't choose no one from what if you if you had to pick a member of the X-Men from every iteration of them so far. So you have like the OG group,
right?
Evolutions, like dude that shoots like spikes out of his hands. I remember them niggas. I don't remember them.
Oh yeah, wow.
Them fools, the New Mutants, all in, like what would be your roster if you had to pick? If you had to pick like a couple from every
mutant. So I'm just gonna go like with try to do like one from like every kind of mutant group, I guess.
Sure.
From the OG X-Men, which became the first,
Cyclops, bro.
Which became the first X Factor. I would choose Cyclops. They need a good
leader. I know you would.
Yep, you already know. I'm rolling with Cyclops.
Boo, but I know.
I will defend Cyclops to my grave.
I don't know why, bro. Let this man, let him go. Let him go.
Never. One day you'll all see.
No, I won't. I'll see when you see the fucking Marvels movie. When you see it for the Marvels movie.
Well, then you will never see. You will never see. I go with so I said Cyclops. Let's see, from the Claremont era. I'm gonna roll with Storm. I mean, it's tempting to go with Wolverine, but like I said earlier, I mean, we can get Wolverine anywhere, honestly. So I'm gonna go with Storm. Let's see, moving on to like the '90s era. I'm gonna go. I want to go Rogue and Gambit. Is that allowed?
That's allowed. That's allowed. Right. I will take that. We're at like what's 5?
That's 4.
4. Okay, yep. We'll take him.
I gotta get some people from New Mutants. I mean, I'm going Magic. Come on,
yeah. That's easy.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Like being real. Wolfsbane is also a New Mutant.
Yeah, she was also a New Mutant. Yeah, and I like her a lot there too.
But not more than Magic, so we're gonna keep moving.
That's also true. Not more than Magic. Let's see. What about Grant Morrison? He had the Astonishing X-Men. Oh, I'm sorry. No, he had the new X-Men era. I would go with. He had a bunch of weird mutants in his run.
Nah, but wasn't that Darwin's one? Darwin for me, for sure.
That's
because he just redeemed himself.
I think that is where Darwin.
I'm pretty sure that's Darwin, the entry of like the Darwin run.
Yeah,
because after New Mutants, but before the new shit.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Darwin's he's easily.
He's owed a run back. Darwin's owed a fade because they fucked him all the way.
How they did him was they did him dirty. But for you homies who don't know, Darwin is a mutant whose ability is to evolve to adapt to any situation. So he essentially can't be killed. Like you push him off situation. You push him off the cliff, and either and chances are like his body will turn to like some kind of gelatin before impact, and he'll survive. You shoot him in.
If Earth was exploding, his body would adapt to survive in space.
To survive in space, yeah. Like any situation you can think of, he adapts for survivability. And somehow in X-Men First Class, they found a way to kill this man. Don't ask me how. It made no sense.
Not the nigga from the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
Killing
Sebastian Shaw. That's who it was. Sebastian Shaw. Yeah. It just played by Kevin Bacon. Just put a glowy orb in his mouth and said adapt to this, and I'm like, why didn't Darwin just adapt to that?
Why didn't he become a glowing like plasma being or whatever the fuck? Like that's what he could have done. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Darwin is owed a run back because they truly had some nerve with his character.
Yeah. It's coming to me.
Mm-hmm.
That comic was written. Darwin's first appearance, I think, was written by Ed Brubaker, and it was Deadly Genesis. I want to say. It was that run. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what happens when you spend too much time.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, damn, that's crazy that you know all that. written by John Stockton, and it was
it was a quiet night. That night he wrote that. Yes.
It was like, oh shit, bro. God damn.
But hey, so it's like 1:15 over here in the morning, and unfortunately, I do have to go to work in the morning.
Rest in peace.
You know, before we started podcasting, doing like our 3-hour conversation, you know, before the podcast, you know, we mentioned how we could do certain things in our 20s and in our teenage years that we just can't do now. And for me, getting anything less than 6 hours of sleep is just murder me.
Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, next time we just get on the mic and just record everything and then, and then just cut what out we don't want to keep.
That is a good call. You know, neither one of us planned on that happening. It just happened. You know,
because we don't talk every 3 months, man.
Right, and that's the issue. That is the issue, man. And that conversation would have been just as interesting as this one, you know, because we talked about everything.
True. True.
Taim, you got anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
No, man. Shout out to the homie Kevin. I don't know where he's at these days, what he's doing. But hopefully he's doing good. I ain't heard his voice in a while, so you know. I noticed he's been missing from the podcast for a couple, you know what I'm saying, a couple episodes. So I just wanted to say a hi from the homies.
Oh,
to Kevin.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Kevin. You know, in your new life, your way here from the podcast. I know you miss us all dearly.
Yeah, that's it. Good for me.
Well, Taim,
and thank you, of course. Thank you as well for having me on as usual.
Brother, thank you for being on, man. Like I think that this episode has been tremendous. I had a blast here, and you know, hopefully you enjoyed yourself as well.
I did.
And you know, as always, man, got to have you back on in the future. But we also need to just talk regularly. You know, not just every 3 months. You know, we can divvy up these 3-hour conversations, and you know, make
That's
them.
True.
Yeah.
We need to work on that fucking game too. That game was hard shit. We were like, who is this person? You know,
like I said, I do that game with every guest now, but I've never had anyone do it back to me, so that caught me off guard.
Yeah. Was not easy, my man.
Oh shit.
Yes.
But homies, one and all, that's going to be all for this one. Taim, my brother, thank you for joining me again. This has been Superhero Homie Taim. My name is Superhero Homie Q. We'll see you guys again next time. Thank you guys all again for listening again. Peace.